And it don't mean, and what happens is that part of it gets sidetracked. And you start battling old priesthood versus what's written in there. So it has to be established first when you start or you're preaching about the word and you say, you know, this is what we believe in after the order of Melchizedek, high priest Christ Yahushua, orders from his father. So everybody around know the angle that we're coming from, because every time you go back into the Old Testament and grab a law, there's going to be a sacrifice or something there. Right in your face. You got to be able to switch that and put that in the Melchizedek perspective. When somebody bring it to you, it still has to be switched and put back in the right perspective, because laws are governed by priests. There's no other way around it. Given from the Father, this is how we govern, this is how we set the law standard. Well, if you're still doing it under a priesthood that's now exempt, so to speak, is only left in a symbolic state, you have to profess to whoever you're dealing with that this is the chief order now. Everything we do is based off of the priest who's been given orders by the Father, how to present this order to everybody else, those that sit on the gospel around the throne. That's where we have to be. If you start off and you battling over here, you're going to go a whole hour or two before you saying, brother, you talking about the Melchizedek order? Well, I forgot, you with that. You done lost valuable time. Let's start where we need to go, because if you having a problem with the priestly order, none of whatever else you're talking about even comes into play. Because unless you get on Melchizedek, they may not be believing in the Messiah. That's the problem, right? So what are we discussing? Law, one of us believes in the Redeemer, and the other one is still on, I need to get me some turtle doves and make sure some goats over there with what I got planned tonight.
What you on?
Premeditated. Premeditated. And then we have what we call moral, civil, and we have what's called religious law. Yo, we have to look at the law in every one of them aspects, or you're going to get thrown off. If you see somebody talking about the Sabbath day, and they start in Leviticus 23, you're in a whole nother set of Sabbath days. These feasts may have 2 Sabbath days within 3 days. So you got to be careful if you're looking in here to explain the Sabbath. Go back to the creation. And let's establish that there's a set appointed day, but don't bring a scripture and it say, and on the morrow it shall be a Sabbath day to you. If the prior day was a Sabbath, then you'd have missed 6 days going somewhere, or this means something else. You got a set of Sabbaths for feast days. They come with feast days. Just like these days. You got New Year's Eve where you gonna get crazy, firing weapons in the air. But on New Year's Day, you off like it's a Saturday or a Sunday. They copied that from the script. Most of our feast days start at evening. You get through the night. It ain't like a feast day starting at 8 in the morning. You can't be loaded up pouring the whiskey at 8 in the morning for everybody and ready. Too early for that. You don't start in the morning. That's what the disciples said in Acts 2. It's but the 3rd hour of the day when they were speaking in tongues. They say these men are drunk, and this Bible talk, this late after the 9th hour talk. He said it ain't but the 3rd hour of the day. It's 9 a.m. If any of us drunk, that's a problem already. That means we got up to do this. So y'all, we want to just hit law basics from those perspectives, always remembering the Melchizedek order priesthood, because if we don't, you pull the Messiah back off the cross and he ain't going back up there no more. So get it in your mind, he's not going to be sacrificed again. Either it was him or it wasn't. Now if you keep running back to Aaron, your mindset is it wasn't. We waiting on him to come. So you can't play around with that. You can't dilly-dally with that. You have to get right to it so that the law is understood, because law is what it is. What comes with law is sin. You have to understand that. When these things are being discussed, we're discussing transgression. What not to do. What to do if you've already committed that transgression. How to move forward, not backwards.
Now, let me ask you a question. These non-messianics, if they
said it so eloquent.
if they don't believe that Yeshua was sent here for our sins, and they still under the priesthood of Aaron, who do they go to sacrifice or to, do the blood offerings and all that? What
They say they got prayer. They got one thing. They have prayer.
Prayer? Yeah. So you can pray away sin. That should work. If it's the same yesterday, it should be today then.
So there's no high priest they go to for that? Or?
Well, then the animals or we've been wasting our time with the animals, because the next thing should be, and thou should pray thy sins away. Thou should call on Elohim, and he shall forgive thee of these things. If you don't get an answer back, how do you know you've been forgiven? Because you still have to repent and not do it again. You still have to say, I'm sorry, but from start to finish, there's always been an intercessor. Now you're saying we're intercessing. Prayer is the intercessor. Well, prayer always been that.
Exactly.
You're eliminating something. Prayer is the part of it. You continue to pray and tell him, I'm going to show you how sorry I am in my sleep. You ain't going to catch me doing that in my sleep, Lord. I'm watching myself now. I mean it. If you ain't no killer, you can't kill nobody in your sleep. That gun will be doing that Three Stooges, bang, to pop out of there. It'll feel like you trying to squeeze the trigger like this. And it won't go off. Because your conscience is telling you this not you. Saying how you get down. But if you killing cats in your dreams, you killing dogs, you running over squirrels and laughing in your dreams and wake up, Rocky in trouble when you get behind the wheel of that car.
Who is Rocky?
The squirrel.
The squirrel?
Because you only going to recall it right back like deja vu. Soon as one run across the street and start dancing. Oh, Papa, you too slow now. Raven's going to have you for later.
Yeah.
I'm providing food. No, you ain't. So y'all, we don't want to get crazy with it, but y'all, these law basics, and we call them basic because that's what they have to be, because we have to make sure the whole body understands it, because the basics start when a child reaches puberty. So that has to be basic. It's called milk, and then you elevate to honey. You have to elevate to what's considered everlasting. I don't care how old honey is. If you find honey in Egypt right now, a jar of it, it's as pure as it is yesterday from 3,000 years ago. That's why it's called milk and honey. Milk for weaning, you get started on this, and then you elevate to everlasting life. If you find the talk of the law in milk, that's exactly what you're discussing. You got to discuss everlasting. See, there's some that say they believe in the Messiah, but they'll go to Hebrews 2:16. Hit a little bit of that for me. And then we're going to go to Hebrews 7:16. And you're going to see a difference in Aaron and Melchizedek. Or they need to explain the difference. Because apparently we're talking about the same individual, or we're talking about different individuals. Because the law speaks to us, and then it speaks to how well the law was kept by the Messiah. We need to know the difference. Or we'll try to find sin for the Messiah like non-messianics do. That's their whole mission, is to hunt for just one. Just one. If I could just find one, then we could put it to bed. Y'all think out of all this time they ain't found one on the Messiah yet? Not one yet of a transgression. Where we at?
You want Hebrews 2 and 16?
Yeah, let me get right there, bro. Just won't get done. How we looking, everybody there?
Then you can start at 14.
So start at 14, bro? Okay. Go ahead, bro.
Reading in the book of Hebrews, chapter 2, verse 14. For as much then as the children are partakers of flesh and blood, he also himself likewise took part of the same, that through death he might destroy him that had the power of death, that is, the devil.
Okay, so we see here he had to take on the flesh of how we were made so that he could conquer death. This is the only reason that this flesh came upon him. It ain't like he was born to have our flesh and then supernaturally he conquered death that way. No, death didn't overpower him and he pulled his feet into the bed and I see y'all on the other side and the ghost leaves from him. He was put to death for a cause. Totally two different things. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 15. And deliver them who through fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage.
See, through fear of death, their whole lifetime subject to bondage, because y'all, no matter how much money we get, no matter how much we exercise, no how much we look in the mirror and see how good we look, guess what's still there on the table?
Death.
Death. It was an eternal curse because it happened in eternity. Satan's curse don't get answered until Isaiah 65:20 on down. And then shall the dust be the serpent's meat. Y'all know how many generations done went through before this done happened? And has already been taught that serpent ate the dust meat then? No, this comes at the second coming. He's supernatural. You can't kill him off. Like a man die and his body go back to dust, he don't have the same chemical makeup. He's set for an eternal fire that burns supernatural. That's why he warned us, don't be afraid of him that can destroy this regular Austin Lane work. But him that puts in that work in a lake of fire. Because that's eternity. You don't want your golden years to be that way, so to speak. Go ahead, bro. Where we at?
We're in verse 16. For verily, he took not on him the nature of angels, but he took on him the seed of Abraham.
Now, many will look at this and look at that as this is the normal way. They'll run to the Wisdom of Solomon or a few of those on how every king was made. They'll run there and say this is talking about the same thing and never looking at the conversation. There's language in here that something had to be reduced to look like something else. This ain't a normal way, nor is it the virgin birth. Normal for you to be talking about virgins gonna have a child. And this is what's gonna happen. If it's just about virgins, what is the angels involved for? Then an angel need to show up at every virgin birth if this is just common practice. But this ain't common practice. This is explaining a transition into another state to deal with one event so that you will believe that we got a fix for the death angel. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 17. Wherefore, in all things it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren, that he might be a merciful and faithful high priest in things pertaining to Yah.
What kind of priest?
A merciful and faithful high priest in things pertaining to Yah.
See, so he's already talking about a high priesthood here, and he ain't after the order of Aaron. This ain't Aaron talk, it's Melchizedek, but they'll make it Aaron talk when you look at it. But he says a priest pertaining to Yah. The only priesthood been presented to Christ is to be after Melchizedek. It's the only language he talking. David talked the language. David was under Aaron, but he talked the language of Melchizedek. But right here, until that temple rent, that's why we can't put David in that position. Because the priest ran years after David, gave up the ghost. So we got to look deep into this language and see who our high priest is, or you gonna see another. It's like somebody that's bipolar. Somebody's waiting to drive. One driver need to be got away or pushed back to 49% maximum. He never rises above that. So the spirit driver always got control of the wheel, of your mental. If you think flesh all the time, if you think the Messiah coming here was about a roll in the hay and a horny old man and a young girl,
You in trouble.
you sadly mistaken about this gospel and what was prophesied for over 2,000 years that was going to happen and then happen again after that. You think this about just a regular old virgin round the way? Let's read some more.
To make reconciliation for the sins of the people.
See, if you pass this up, this is why he was reduced to being made like we were. To get reconciliation, it has to be paid back for, the ultimate price. Go ahead, brother.
For in that he himself hath suffered being tempted, he is able to succor them that are tempted.
Now let's go right to 7 and 16 and see if there's a contradiction, or does this lend to what's being said in Hebrews 2. Either it's going to shift back and make it all a roll in the hay, or we going to be on the spiritual level and say, there it is right there. Because he one or two priests here.
We start at 12.
Yeah. 11.
So transition.
Yes, sir. Say what?
Yeah, that,
Start at 8.
At 8?
Yeah. So we just want to get it good, because here again, we're talking in the difference in priesthood. See, y'all, it's a reason Hebrews 7 and 1 start off about this other priesthood, and then it's explaining too. It's not going the other way. Go ahead, bro.
When the book of Hebrews, chapter 7, verse 8. And here, men that die receive tithes, but there he receiveth them, of whom it is witnessed that he liveth.
See, what is this saying? It's talking about the tithes of Levi. Those men died. We're talking about now tithes being paid of a man that liveth. What we talking about, keep reading.
And as I may say so, Levi also, who receiveth tithes, paid tithes in Abraham.
How does that work? How did Levi pay tithes in Abraham? Anybody? We need some crowd participation here today. Because Abraham was a hierarchy at the time? Right.
Abraham paid tithes to Melchizedek.
Right.
Was the high priest and the king of the Most High God.
Okay.
At the time, to my understanding, Melchizedek was Christ at the time. Or, he was the king of righteousness.
Give me some Genesis 16 right quick. Okay. Yeah, okay, so, yeah, understanding so far, keep on rolling.
So Abraham paid tithes to Melchizedek.
Right.
Which was the high priest for God, in my understanding. He was the first occurrence of Christ.
Right.
Because he was born the same way in the like manner of Christ. And so Melchizedek, with Abraham paying tithes to Melchizedek, Levi, the big priest, who was paying tithes to the high. which was Abraham.
Absolutely.
Higher than Abraham.
And very well stated the way you said that. The only problem with it is when we look at it from that perspective, we're still not looking at an order. You're looking at it from an individual standpoint, that who is Melchizedek? And with order, with priesthood, it tells you how much to take from an individual with a high priest, and what to lay, or what animals you have to bring to him, or all of these things. So when he paid tithes in him, is there a set of rules for what goes to a high priest, or if this guy a high priest, or is he just that mysterious individual that shows up every now and then called Melchizedek? See, and what I'm looking for is the order, not the title, so much, so to speak. I'm not looking for Melchizedek to be what we call an individual before I see its order. Like when we get into Exodus 28, when it's talking about the priests, this what they have to wear on their head, this what they have to wear there. Their robes have to be made like this have to be like that. And then we look at the high priest. If that's a mirror image of what this Melchizedek is doing, then there's an order somewhere. So that's why I asked him when you said, my understanding is Christ, it looks like that because we have other tools that explain who that was, and priests are moving down the line. Because if that was Christ, then who did Adam pay tithes to? Who did Noah pay tithes to? They sacrificed when he got off the ark. Who was that to? So if Christ is back there, then he's before the flood too, right? Because you put him before Abraham. You know what I'm saying? So you put him before Sodom and Gomorrah being destroyed. So you put him way before Mount Sinai. So you got laws, statutes, and judgments going on before we get to Mount Sinai. So that's a whole order.
The whole priesthood.
The whole priesthood.
So basically that Melchizedek is not, like Aaron was an individual, but his order was based off of all his sons.
16.
That was
16 to 17.
That's something.
Yeah.
Was you saying that even though Aaron was an individual, the order of Aaron got to do with Aaron and all his sons under him?
Right, absolutely. Because that's who it's passed to. Like Moses was a Levite, but Moses wasn't in the line of high priest. Moses was in the line of a Levite high prophet. But Moses' son, Eleazar, took over for Aaron. When Aaron got court-martialed, Eleazar took over and the robes were put on him. And it said, these priests right here out of Aaron, they can't marry no daughter outside of Israel. It's forbidden for this particular line.
So Melchizedek is not just an individual, he's the order of a whole bunch of brothers rocking the same vibration.
Yes, absolutely, bro. Absolutely what I'm saying. And until you understand it, like how you're promoting the law from Aaron and the priest, if you don't do this the same way, it's always going to be like a mysterious individual with Melchizedek. It ain't going to never be looked at as a priesthood order. So everything you're going to fall back to the old basics. And that's all Paul was saying. He said, you can't keep falling back to the old basics. You have to elevate your game. It's a higher priesthood order, and it starts with these individuals, but we're going to see who Melchizedek was. That's what I'm looking for. 16 to 7, where he say this priest was Shem. No, I'm saying, did he say was this was Shem?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
what I'm looking for. You said it how many times, bro?
He said about 4 or 5 times.
See, now he's trying to say I'm in glowworm mode.
Well, now you know all the old good cartoons are talking.
Go ahead, bro. What year, man? You got it?
This is Jasher 16.
So, this is Jasher 16 chapter he finna read out of that's mentioned in 2 Samuel 1:18, 1 Tim 3, and Joshua 10:13. Say, study out of the book of Jasher. So now we get some more details on who that was that Abraham met. Go ahead, brother.
Jasher 16, you go to verse 7. And Abram heard this. And Abram heard this, and he rose up with about 318 men that were with him. And he that night pursued these kings and smote them. And they all fell before Abram and his men. And there was none remaining but the 4 kings who fled. And they went each his own road. And Abram recovered all the property of Sodom. And he also recovered Lot and his property, his wives and little ones, and all belonging to him, so that Lot lacked nothing.
So what we're seeing here is it's talking about the same exact story in Genesis.
Genesis 14.
Genesis 14, the same exact story. It's going word for word. But you're going to get more detail on what happened versus the summary of the Bible. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 9. And when he returned from smiting these kings, he and his men passed the valley of Sifting, where the kings had made war together. And Berak, king of Sodom,
Right.
and the rest of his men that were with him went out from the lion pits into which they had fallen to meet Abram and his men. And Adonizedek.
And who?
Adonizedek.
See, when you start to see language like it say Azonadek or Melchizedek, it's talking the same language, but it's written from different aspects of language. So it's just like Apollyon and Abaddon in Revelation 9. We're still talking about the beast of the bottomless pit.
Right.
So with these 2 different names, Azoniadek, when you look it up, it'll say a old priest.
God being the Lord of righteousness.
The Lord of righteousness. So it's just written with an A versus the M, and you don't want to get into the language. What we have to focus on is the event that's taking place. If that event changed, then it's a whole nother dude. Go ahead, bro.
And Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem.
King of who?
Jerusalem. Same was Shem.
Was who?
Shem.
Shem. Go ahead.
Went out with his men to meet Abram and his people with bread and wine. And they remained together in the valley of Melech. And Adonizedek blessed Abram. And Abram gave him a tenth from all that he had brought from the spoil of his enemies.
Right.
For Adonizedek was a priest before Yahweh. And all the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah who were there with their servants approached Abram and begged of him to return them their servants whom he had made captive, and to take unto himself all the property.
Right.
And Abram answered the kings of Sodom, saying, As the Lord liveth, who created heaven and earth, and who redeemed my soul from all affliction, and who delivered me this day from my enemies,
Right.
and gave them into my hand, I will not take anything belonging to you, that you may not boast the more, saying, Abram became rich from our property that he saved.
So you see how Abraham was so wise, he was already thinking in the future. If I take any of this going to get Lot, y'all gonna say the only reason he had that come up is because of our war. He like, I ain't taking nothing. But as you read further on, he say, I'm gonna pay the men that I hired, because I had to hire them. People get paid for their hire. I'll pay them, and then I'll give this portion, but ain't nothing coming to me. Now, hit a little bit of that Genesis 14, 17, and we'll see if we see the same exact language like we read in Jeremiah 31, 31, talking about the new covenant, and Hebrews 8, 8.
What just mentioned Shem, right?
Shem, the son of Noah. So, when you understand the priesthood, the first priesthood was given to Adam. You a priest. You over this. You name everything. You set the order of everything. And then the priesthood passed to Abraham.
Now, would the priesthood have been passed down to Shem after
Noah.
After Noah going off into after the flood?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, not true about
So
this.
Shem would have been the Melchizedek of that time.
Yeah.
He'd have been the high priest of that time.
Yes.
So now you're seeing it all. Go ahead, bro.
He got it.
And it's true. He had to get it from his father, which was Noah.
Right.
That's how Christ ended up getting the Melchizedek after Shem.
Yeah.
Because he received the everlasting priesthood, which was passed down from Adam.
Yeah.
Right, it was already promised.
And so that was the priesthood that was in the earth before Aaron got it on Mount Sinai. You feel me? So before we even went into slavery, that was the priesthood. You got Adam down through all, like Aaron and his sons had the Aaron priesthood. Adam and his sons had the Melchizedek priesthood. For it's a specific line all the way down. So that's why brother was saying it's not
Yeah.
just an individual, it's a whole order of priests.
That was the word from the beginning.
Yeah,
That was the word from the beginning. Absolutely. That's what we're going back to. And he's the chief high priest over that order. He's the Aaron over that order. Christ is. Because the true Melchizedek is his father. Which, because he has no beginning or no ending. See how that rightly moves right into everlasting? And then it says the Messiah is the same way, because you don't know his birthday, the day the Father created him as the first creation. You ain't got no birthday. So this is how he can be called the Ancient of Days, the everlasting that was prophesied in Isaiah. He can be all of that because he was that at the beginning. It's a system. A high priest after the order of the chief Melchizedek, who is the Father. And then it ranks down.
Makes sense.
And you pass the same order.
Christ continued.
So that means Abraham, so you see Shem passed to him, Isaac, Jacob. You see these men building altars, doing sacrifices, all this before Levi was even born.
Yeah.
Well, how did Levi? Yeah, because look, Levi.
It's telling you who got juice.
Makes sense.
And that's what Paul was saying. Y'all still trying to rock the middle before the beginning. It's like, how you gonna get it? All you gonna do is mess up a movie if you come in there. Then what happened? But what happened? Hold on. Why that man got on a red shirt? Like I be doing my wife. Because she said she can figure out any movie. You know. I'm like, this one I can't. You just gotta watch this one. But I keep asking you in the middle. So why he got that green car? You be like, man, you just gonna have to watch this from the beginning. But hit that 14 of Genesis, start at 17.
I was asking the Jackson, that was 7 through what?
7 through 12.
And when you get into the 9th and 10th chapter of Jasher, you'll see that Abraham went to live with Noah and Shem until Noah died. And then Shem was 600 years old when he met Abraham at this time. You know, so Abraham studied with them for 36 years. He went to him when he was 3 years old. And he was 39 when he left. Yeah, in the 9th and 10th chapter of Jasher. So you see that bond and that relationship that they had. That's why Christ is rocking the same order on the Passover. Bread and wine.
Same thing we just read.
This is it. This the covenant and foot washing, which includes hospitality.
Abraham did that too.
You hear people, as soon as he met him, he started washing feet, didn't he? So this is the covenant that the Christ is bringing back to the disciples. This is what we got to do. And Peter said, wash my whole head, man, not my feet only, but my whole body, my head too. He said, that's baptism. This washing of feet, if I don't do this, you have no part with me in the kingdom. Not water baptism, but if I don't wash your feet, you can't hang with me. Because we got to push back in hospitality, because you're pushing in 1,000-year reign with your neighbor. Oh, if that nigga think I'm gonna be washing feet today, he walked in that cow manure on purpose. Hell no. Hell no. In the kingdom,
That boy know Israel, don't he?
you know what Israel gonna do? Now he did that on purpose. See everybody else walking around and get back. He walked straight through that and expect me to wash his feet. Hell no. Now look, I know what Christ is saying. How you think you're gonna be able to do that in the kingdom? You gotta practice hospitality now, but when we're talking about true hospitality, that don't mean open up your doors for everybody. Entertain strangers, for they are angels unaware. Angels gonna come with one mission, and it's gonna be a lawful mission. But you have to try them and make sure it ain't the devil coming with the same mission, or you just open your doors up to a maniac. And you can't open your temple up to a maniac. Angel come, they got the word. They say, if an angel or anybody else don't come with this gospel, what we supposed to do?
Count him a liar.
Count them a liar and accursed. It don't matter how they glowing. That's what made me get off of so-called people that look high esteem, the Pharisees, and this boy called himself Jesus. Everybody got to play by the same rules. Nobody is exempt from the rules. Christ never broke what's written in here. If he followed them, how then do you look at a Pharisee or somebody and just say, man, it looked like he almost looked like an angel when he came in the room. An angel of what? The angel of death.
That's what you get.
So what angel did you see? That's why once you understand it from that perspective, and when we may say some things about David, we ain't belittling David or saying nothing about him. What we're saying is what the Most High says to every individual. I don't have no respect to person. You sin, you break my law, I am going to take care of you. I didn't do it, Lord, I didn't do it, and what do you think I pray against? Well, I'm whooping everybody's donkey. That's why we here. We ain't gonna point fingers. Everybody getting a whooping then. I'll get the right one then.
I get it. I don't worry about it.
Your parents just ain't picked that up out of the wind. Where we at, bro? You reading that 14, 17.
The book of Genesis chapter 14, verse 17.
And y'all look at that Jasher chapter 16, verse 7, and see if we see the same exact language. Go ahead, bro.
Genesis 14 to 17. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Kedorlaomer and of the kings that were with him at the valley of Sifting, which is the king's day. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High Yah. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram of the Most High Yah, possessor of heaven and earth.
Y'all see that? Go ahead.
And blessed be the Most High Yah, which hath delivered thine enemies into thy hand. And he gave him tithes of all.
So there's a tithing to pay when the Most High. It's the same thing in Genesis 30 when Jacob said, after the vision, the ladder, and the pillar, and the hip dislodging, he said, if you would be with me, I then will give you a tenth of all that I have. All of it, Lord. You ain't got to worry about it. It's automatic counting. I know you exist. If you be with me this way before Mount Sinai, here's another tenth being given. So when they're talking tithes, or we talking what Hebrews 7 talking about, because we passed Aaron tithe and commanded tithe. That's what they doing in New York. They even take it a step further. They call it tights. 20%. They changed it to 20%, don't they? And not only that, they have what they call sack day. You out there selling all day on the street corner. And they call sack day. Empty your pocket, sack day. You turn over all you made.
Except for $10.
Except for $10. How you gonna go home with 3 babies, 2 of them in Pampers, and ain't nothing in the refrigerator? And you've been gone all day. That's because you're serving a priest after the old order that didn't even follow the orders of Aaron. That's what the Messiah used to tell those Pharisees all the time. If you were Moses' children, you would do as Moses. But y'all doing a whole new doctrine. This is totally new. Ain't nowhere in here tell 20% tithe and sack day. Call me chief high priest of what? And then, have y'all ever heard them mention Melchizedek in his priesthood?
You heard it on your heart.
He said it sounded, they talking about something Melchizedek like it's an individual that show up like kazoo. Who said that? There he is, y'all see him there? Dang, is over there about oatmeal cookies. That's how they talk about him. Like he's some mysterious individual versus the priesthood that we have to practice being kings and priests. You have to have an order. You can't just call yourself a priest and there's no order. Then you'll make up your own order and your own books. Just like all of them that get outside the order, they have their books. Benjamin Carter had his books. Hulan Mitchell had his books beside the Bible. and you study from their understanding of commandments of men. That's how it slips in there, because nobody ain't dealing with the priesthood. This is an order thing with the Most High. He don't deal in confusion. Where we at? Read some more of that, man.
One more?
Yeah.
Verse 21.
Uh-huh.
And the king of Sodom said unto Abram, give me the persons and take the goods for thyself.
Right.
Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up my hand to Yah, the Most High God, the possessor of heaven and earth.
Right.
That I will not take from thee, I will not take from a thread even to a shoelash.
You hear what he's saying? I ain't taking nothing from nobody, ill-gotten gain. Go ahead, bro.
And that I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abram rich.
Did we just read that in Jackson? So we know we talking about the same individual because the story is matching up the same.
Exactly. Titles is just somewhat different.
Somewhat different,
one
but
king of righteousness, other one Lord of righteousness.
Look, is there any different from Robert versus Black Robert if both of them run the tire shop we talking about? You talking about Robert owned the tire shop on Lucas and Hunt and Paul's Ferry?
Yeah, Black Rock.
Black Robert.
Yeah, Black Rock.
Bobby,
But the deal is, who's the owner of the tire shop? His name is Robert. You just put Black in front of yours. Same individual still running the tire shop.
that's right.
Same situation what we're talking about. The titles, and this is where people get you caught up in the name game. What? It ain't saying it like that, so it can't be him. It ain't saying it like that. What is the story saying? That's the whole three-part Monty to get you off of the subject matter at hand and have you looking over there. It's called a pump fake. In football, the quarterback will do like he gonna throw it to this guy and everybody run that way and then throw it over there. That's all they doing to us is a pump fake. Here, and you run over there. He don't toss it to Mikhail there, he just toss it back to the prophet bucket. Because you done ran over there, you a through piece now. Go ahead, brother.
Got a question.
Who got a question? Go ahead, brother.
Same thing is Jerusalem.
Same thing.
Yeah.
He turned to Judea, and Judea turned to Jerusalem, right?
Right.
Jerusalem capital,
And Melchizedek was king of Salem.
Right.
Now, yes, he would be king of Jerusalem, prince of Jerusalem, right?
King.
He inherited, like he inherited the priesthood.
Right.
So that's the reason why they call him the prince of peace.
Yeah.
Because he inherited the
Oh.
priesthood.
Absolutely. His title was there is Psalm 110. David had already said, thou art priest forever after Melchizedek. He knew that wasn't him.
Right.
But he lived in that type of aspect. Even though he was under Aaron, he lived Melchizedek. He would show mercy. He gave mercy. So he was practicing things that what we should look for. Even though he was under Aaron, he was still shadowing it because he already knew. That's why he said, the Lord said to my Lord. That would have been blasphemy if it wasn't understood. And that's what all of these non-messianics try to make, that blasphemy, and when they can't, then they try to put somebody in there. It was Hezekiah. When was he priest of the order of Melchizedek?
So Shem had this conversation with yesterday, right?
No, Shem had this conversation with Abraham, but it was passed down from his father Noah to Shem, and so forth and so on. Noah got it from his father Methuselah. And he got it from his father, Lamech, or whoever it is. And they got it from his father, Jared, all the way back to Adam.
Enoch. You read the Enoch said he was a priest and king over the whole earth.
Priest and king.
Same line of fathers and sons.
So when he had the conversation with my Lord, said to my Lord,
Yeah.
who said that
Well,
king forever?
the question is, who could be David's Lord in between the Lord? If David is the king, who above David? See, some will say that was King Solomon. That ain't recorded in history while a sitting king, his son, takes
His
rulership from him.
Right, it's his Lord.
It ain't never, that ain't written nowhere. And not only that, Solomon wasn't after the order of Melchizedek. David even still putting Zadok the priest. Those are Aaron's sons, Zadok and all of them. And he's still following that order. But he's talking about the future to come that Moses talked about. It's another one coming.
So
Whole different order.
So Moses was the one that had the conversation with Joshua.
Yeah.
So was Moses my Lord of that time?
Was Moses?
You talking about in Psalm 14?
No,
That's the Father speaking. He said, David saying, the Lord, Yah the Father, said to my Lord, Yahweh Christ, sit at my right hand till I make your enemies your footstool.
Right.
Right. Then that the Lord at the right hand is the high priest forever after the kills of that order. Hebrews chapter 1 kick it right off.
Yeah.
Hebrews chapter 1, when you like God spoke with us in the past by the prophets, he speak to us by his son. He's the exact replica of his father. When he purged our sins, he sat at the right hand of the Father.
Right.
Until his enemies be made his footstool. So David in spirit knew that the Messiah had a position at the right hand of the Heavenly Father. So when he said the Lord, that's the Father Yah, said to my Lord, my Master, which is Christ, the Son, sit right there until I give you orders to go conquer. All right? He's the priest forever after the kills that order. And then in verse 5 in the same 110, it say, the Lord at your right hand.
Yeah, that's right.
Will be striking through kings in the day of his wrath. So now we know that ain't the Father that ain't his throne. That's the right hand Lord. He was sent by the Father to handle that business. You see what I'm saying? So that's David saying, look, the Father already talked to my master.
That's right.
He's at the right hand of the Heavenly Father until he get orders to come conquer. You feel me? And to clear up any confusion that is Hezekiah or Solomon, verse 4 says, you know, he has to be a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. Which Hebrews 1, Hebrews 7, the whole book of Hebrews go into it. You feel me? The most slept on book in the Bible.
That's right.
Because it breaks the whole order down. Like, dang, all right, they used to sacrifice animals. Now Christ's body was put up for the sacrifice. They used to do these offerings. Now that's nothing void now. You understand? Those offerings can never stop you from sinning. Right? But the Messiah's offering and sacrifice is a perfect offering. It got to do with your conscience, transformation of your mind, being born again. Feel me? So that's the difference right there.
Yeah.
So one was a shadow of greater things to come, but the mystery is it was already in the earth before we even went to Egypt. The brothers had it from the beginning. Yeah,
Right. So it was already practiced. It's not a old practice like, you know, when they say it's not a new covenant for us, it's an old covenant. It's just new to you. Because people got you trapped under there. And I'm talking about these are people calling themselves high priest. And if you say Melchizedek, they ain't got a clue what you talking about. So what else could it mean? But who else? Aaron. Then how you going to explain the schoolmaster if you are promoting from that perspective and they're saying it's a different order? They actually teach that once we get to the land, boof, you're going to automatically, mysteriously become righteous. No, you got to practice this now because there has to be work about you that the Most High say when I open up the book. Let's see here. Brother such and such. Let's see here. Nope, ain't behind that. Brother, and then he cut eyes at you. Right here. And then page is right here. And you in the map. Ain't no more names in the map. A swallow. It's a mistake. No, you ain't gonna pull what the effeminate pulling. He didn't make no mistakes. He don't make mistakes. He don't make mistakes. He's perfect. If he make mistakes, then you need not be worshiping him. He's faulty at that point. How you gonna ever trust in him if you found mistakes in him? Oh, I'm gonna get a Lord a pass. You know, I seen the same thing happen over here. You know, when he got off his throne and got whooped up, you know, so I kind of understand it. I'll give him a pass. That's why my foot twisted this way and I like men.
You done killed the whole clan.
You ain't gonna find that in here.
Why ain't he laughing?
being formed imperfect. Yo, because that's what goes out now. Because we're trying to find an excuse for what's going on. Laws have already been there, and he already had an administration set up. Moses and Aaron, that was administration. 1 Corinthians, that's the administration. He's setting up the disciples. Don't y'all know y'all sit on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel, but we don't get too far once you get back to the Hebrews 7. So we can see the supernatural of this, of the order of Melchizedek. It's a supernatural priesthood. It comes with the Spirit to be given to every man. But before you hit that, before you get back there, you see what I'm talking about, hit that John 20 and 20. Just give me a little bit of that, y'all, so y'all understand what was given to his disciples. We're going to see what we saw when paradise was going on with Adam and Eve. What you were given, y'all, this is power. This is the priesthood. This comes with this priesthood. That's why these Negroes can't do no miracle. Their miracles is robbing you. Giving you false doctrine and bread that don't satisfy.
Exactly.
You ain't never satisfied. That's why they keep complaining. We ain't satisfied. It's no more satisfaction than you had in Christianity, because all it is Hebrew Christianity.
You got a precept?
Yeah, that's precept.
If you're not getting what this is saying, and you see the same exact room or the same exact play over there, all they know now is Christianity has moved over here to identity. I know who I am, but I have the same church practices. Where you at, bro?
Yeah, you know, it's funny you said that. I remember seeing, and probably a lot of us have seen it, T.D. Jakes went on record and said that he know he from the Igbo tribe or of the children of Israel, but keep the same church doctrine when we teach
Right.
the scriptures on who Israel is and what role they play in the Bible.
You know why?
He on record saying that.
You know why?
With a
Because
Christmas
he
tree in
knows
the
that's all
background.
it takes to satisfy us. T.D. Jakes said it. T.D. Jakes said it. T.D. Jakes said it. How about little Earl down there in the Sears building say it? Does it have to be somebody that's on the top to say it for you to believe it?
Right.
But he ain't got a clue what he talking about. How you from the Igbo tribe? How you get over here? Chart the route. But he ain't got to worry about none of that because he know they're not going to challenge him.
He knows.
We're so hung up on, he said we was Israelites. He was told that in theology. It has come, it's impossible for you to look at these scriptures with an open eye and say, it's somebody on earth do just like this. You know, I saw him in a grocery store. I saw him in the Olympics. I saw him at a concert. I saw him in an alleyway. I saw dice men thrown up against a wall. I saw priestly words coming out of the temple. I know this people right here. We call them Negroes though. So it ain't like it's coming on everybody. It's a common denominator. The only way you get out of it is to eliminate prophecy. Every doctrine that do it eliminates prophecy. They have to, because I can't show you the cream rising back to the top, so to speak. That comes with a lot of other things. That means the bottom got to be the top. If all of these prophecies true, then it's going to do this.
Yeah.
Don't want to do that. I did some bad things to Willie the other day with that chicken and watermelon joke. If that's true, I won't believe it. Jim Pavelli is Jesus. Whoever that dude that played the Passion Christ. So they look the other way, and then they say, our fathers have inherited lies.
Yeah.
So you start to pass that lie that it ain't here, but yet it keeps staring you right in the face, and it ain't going nowhere. Y'all, we have the same exact troubles we had when we hit this shore. It's just at a different level. It's it's covert versus overt. You just can't walk up and say, nigga, I ought to kill you. You can say, put that gun down, put that gun down. I had to kill him. Different language.
Different language.
For a different time. But it's the same result.
Had to do it.
So you still in captivity. It ain't going nowhere. You still in the land of your enemies.
Yes.
And no man has bought you.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody said, I'll redeem you according to the law of slavery that we get into the book of Genesis when it talks about, Exodus, when it talks about this or the rules of a servant. When you get into that, as I say, ain't nobody came and claimed y'all. Anybody know about reparations from America? Lord ain't gonna allow them to pay us out of bondage.
Financial aid.
What you gonna do but get back into bondage?
Boy, especially.
Overnight?
Boy, I'm gonna go buy me a Cadillac, some rims, some beats. Some true man.
Bought me a cigarette truck. I ain't gonna never run out of dog. I mean, but you know what we gonna do? Hennessy van.
There you go, bro. There you go, bro.
It's the delivery system.
And give it all back. They already tested it. All the money we make, we give it right back. Jacob and Julie get all of it back, all the money back, don't they? Tax man get the rest of it, don't they? All of it goes right back. Where we at, bro? We'll get back.
Let me run this precept real quick on what you was talking about the things that are passed and everything. When we think Ecclesiastes 1, 9 and 10. Ecclesiastes 1, 9 and 10.
The script, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
we're
we
going
going
to
down.
come right back to
Just
John
throwing
20
the
and 20.
precepts so we
We
kinda
just
see
had
it.
a quick precept. I
Yeah,
want y'all to hold on to John 20 and 20. We're coming right back to that next, y'all, because it's some very important language that's passed around
One in the Old Testament, not Ecclesiastes, Ecclesiastes.
in the Bible.
In the Bible, in the Old Testament. Right after Proverbs. Because see, what Daniel was talking about while Brother was pulling it up, is that what was in the beginning is what we trying to get back to. Everybody else trying to keep you in the middle of the game.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? With a man who sinned just like you, who was fallible just like you, and couldn't do nothing to give you salvation.
Right.
He was just playing a type and shadow until the other man came back and took possession. You see what I'm saying? So that's what so I'm gonna read the precept so you already know where it came from.
That at 8, man.
Start at 8. No, we in Ecclesiastes 1. And we're gonna start at verse 8, 8
Got the
through 10.
second witness up on the board, 3, 14, and 15.
One more time, man.
Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 8. You all right? Praise. All things are full of labor. Man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. The thing that has been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun.
There's no what?
New thing under the sun.
Okay.
Is there anything whereof it may be said? See, this is new. Question. It has been already of old time,
That's right.
which was before us. So, 11. There is no remembrance of the former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come, which those that shall come after. So we're just saying what was, will be, and what, you know what I'm saying, is already been.
And
We're
see,
going
it
back to the
said,
beginning.
there is no new thing under the sun. See, you have to understand what sun we're talking about, too. And we're talking about the sun that was restored. See, Genesis 1 and 1 and 1 and 2 talks about it coming out of a flood. And 2 Peter 3:8 gets into it when he said, we are not under that sun. We are under the same sun that was recreated. So everything under this sun, even the flood didn't destroy the sun and the moon. It just rained for 40 days. So we're still under that sun. So anything taking place under that sun is already happened before. So they say, when did the virgin birth happen? When did the virgin birth happen under the sun? Under this sun we under now. Adam was virgin birth, wasn't he?
Virgin earth, baby.
Wasn't no sex.
Who was his mom? Who was his dad? I mean, the history go back to his father, who he was the son of God, but it ain't listing his mother is Mother Earth, Virgin Earth, who he went back to. So under this sun is still a virgin birth by a supernatural individual whose father, and he's called the Son of God. The same way like the miracle birth with Mary and the Messiah. They act like this ain't never happened under this sun before. It started off that way under this sun.
Started off supernatural.
Yeah.
And that's the spirit, right?
Yes.
So both, it's spiritual first and also physical, right? So Adam wasn't created by for unlawful carnal knowledge.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Intercourse.
He was made out of the power of God. So the power of God did that same work with Mary. He planted that in Mary without that act and brought forth his son. And Jesus is called the second Adam.
Right.
He's called it.
See, his birth is tied to a supernatural. So when Israelites try to use this and say Christ was born like we was, it's a shame. Some of us know what that deal is. Some of us got children here born conceived at the drive-in. Ain't no movie was watched. And you got us thinking this the same exact way.
Put all y'all hands
Because they talking the same exact language. When they teach it, and Mary stopped by and say Mary was in the land of Judea. Who else lived in Judea? And all the free crates raged up. Joseph lived in Judea. So you're saying because Joseph lived in Judea on her way to Elizabeth's house, she stopped off and got her son. The Messiah was born via Booty Call 101. You don't believe in the Messiah. Even though they're saying the Messiah, they don't believe in him because they don't believe in his supernatural birth. They believe he was birthed the way they are, the way we were.
Somehow God's power got limited when he got to Christ.
Right.
He had all the power in the world to create suns, moons, stars, elements, skeletal, muscular, nervous, everything. But by the time he got to Christ, he just didn't have no more power left to run it
How
up.
you go from the right hand of the Father into Joseph's loins anyway?
Yeah.
Right. How did that even happen?
How did that happen? Explain that supernaturally then.
That's another one.
So y'all, we have to understand this priesthood deals with supernatural events.
Yeah, you're good with the supernatural.
And when you was talking about up in the mount, Moses asked to see thy glory. Let me see thy glory. Who's the Father's glory according to 1 Corinthians 11? Who's the glory of the Father?
That's a question. When Moses was talking to the Most High, was he talking to the Messiah?
Well, that's a question.
Through the Messiah talking through,
Yeah.
the Father talking through, I should say, the Messiah to whoever the individual was. But he ain't leaving his throne. He don't have to deal with the work he created. He created his other work to deal with the problem that was created. He ain't going to getting off his throne. Oh, it ain't go. I just can't get no rest. Stop it now. All you have to do is look and see what's set up here. Pence standing like this next to Trump, waiting on the order. Go over to North Korea and talk some sense into him. He got the other lady. Go over there to the UN and tell them anybody voting against us, money cut off tomorrow. Trump ain't went over there. Who went over there? But who they represent? They have the full power and authority of the president. Go over there and tell them I said this. If you don't, and they don't make up the rules as they go along. The rules are already made up. The answers are already there. If he said no to the first offer, offer B. If he said no to B, tell him nuclear war. That's all it is. They don't negotiate. Well, you know, I'm pretty tight with Donald, and he probably would want me to make a different decision. That ain't happening. When Christ talked to Abraham and told him, I'm finna go destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, Abraham called him Lord, bowed to him, and went and had food fixed. Lord, will you destroy him if it's 50? Our angel don't think like this. No, he didn't tell me don't destroy it if it's 50, but he sent me to do it, so, well, I won't do it if it's 50. That ain't in there. They taking orders. They already know it's only 4 in there that's legally allowable to come out. That's it. The order is already written. So when Abraham started at 50, the angel thinking he got to move this under 5.
Somebody gonna turn around and get turned.
This 10%. It's 10% of what you thinking about. 10% of what Abraham thought, and you got 5 cities. I'm not talking about 5 neighbors. It's 5 cities surrounding Sodom and Gomorrah. Jennison, Ferguson, Pine Lawn, what's more at? Country Club Hills. All of them, and it wasn't 5 people righteous in all of that. Already known about it because it had already rose up to heaven, and he say all of them stinking, huh? Every last one of them stinking except 4 right now, and 3 of them are because you have a servant down there that's righteous. He covering them to get them through to the rod. And the rod was right here, and all Lot's wife had to do was just get to the rod and get past. Too late? Same way y'all make sure we hit some Ezekiel 20:33 because we gonna see
Hey,
the
look,
same
you know
thing.
what's crazy?
But let's catch up.
No, I'm just saying why everybody turned it. You know what's crazy is that understand Sodom and Gomorrah was judged for its wickedness pre-written Torah.
That's right.
Pre-written what?
Pre-written Torah.
Mount
Before
Sinai.
Mount Sinai, before you dealing with the children of Israel, before you dealing with any of that. Moses ain't even on the planet.
Right.
But there is judgment going out for wicked acts.
Yeah.
So there was a law in the earth, as all my brothers been saying this whole day, is this Melchizedek order priesthood, and its order and rules have been in the planet since Adam.
Before Moses got on.
You had the first fruits going on with Cain and Abel presenting offerings to the Most High, where they learned it.
Short Lake class. Okay, all right. Short Lake class, y'all. See Uncle Mordecai. Oh yeah, Uncle Mordecai.
Hey, y'all get up.
But that's heavy chair rolling over there. What size that shirt, Joshua?
Hey,
Size
Dad,
that shirt. Let's get that.
hey, Dad, you ain't got to go to short lake. You got to finish class.
I can finish up. What's the door at? Why you ain't saying nothing? No. Shalom, you bro. Hey, bro. What's up? That's the people with that angelic voice. Back there, yeah. Yo, that's the one in the jam, Adjourn, with his daughter, Nunu. Set the captain. No.
Boy, you
Let's catch up, y'all.
Hey, y'all don't go up, boy. Hey.
Let's get it, y'all. Where we at?
Hey, they trip off this too. If I say something, Johnny asked about was that the Messiah hollering at Moses?
Yeah.
Right.
When he
Now,
said, let me see your glory.
now trip off this. That conversation goes back to when he first when the burning bush was up there too. All right. So that conversation is going back way before he go back into Egypt to redeem Israel. At the burning bush of Exodus, the 3rd chapter. You can't get down to verse 6 without that telling you that's an angel, a messenger of the Most High that was in that bush, right? And the angel or the messenger of the Most High said, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, what angel got the authority to say that he's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob?
That's 40 years.
Or what messenger? You understand what I'm saying?
That's 40 years before Mount Sinai.
Yeah. You see that? So if anybody was saying, or anybody listening would say, well, that sounds too far-fetched. You brothers are idolaters.
Right.
In Exodus, the 3rd chapter, the same message, I am that I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right?
But you won't get down to verse 6 without it saying to you, this is an angel of the Most High, or a messenger of the Most High. And he told him, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Right.
You feel me? So again, did the father vacate his throne to jump into a burning bush? Then he sent his chief messenger, because we all know if you're on the level, that's Messiah.
Right.
Then he sent his chief messenger with word, just like Donald Trump will send Rex Tillerson.
Yeah.
Or Pence or whatever. Go
Right.
over there and tell them, come in my name and my authority, and tell them I said this. You feel me? You see it happen right in front of you all the time.
Right.
If anyone wants to say, well, them niggas is idolaters, then why in Exodus 3 it says an angel of the Most High said that he was the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I heard the cry of my people. It's time for you to go back down in there and get my people up out of it. And as it keep going, Moses like, I can't speak. I can't do this. He told, stick your hand in your bosom. He's still having the same conversation with this messenger. You see what I'm saying? It goes all the way up until when you get into Joshua, right before we invade Jericho. Right? Joshua chapter 5. At the end of chapter 5, Joshua said he looked up and he saw someone standing over by the walls of Jericho. So Joshua eased up on him and said, you with us or you with our enemies? He said, no, you with me. You with me. I'm the captain of the Lord's army. Take your shoes off, you on holy ground, and Joshua worshiped that, whoever that was right there.
Yeah.
Now he says, I'm the captain of the army. I'm the general of the army. Is this the Father himself? No.
All right, that's Joshua 5.
13 through 15.
13 through 15.
And Jack, the same thing was told to Moses, take the shoes off, you on holy ground. The same thing was said to Joshua. There was a messenger outside Jericho, same exact thing.
Same language.
You feel me? So again, it's, before anybody calls us idolaters or being, you know what I'm saying, messianic freaks or whatever they try to call us today, explain to us who this was.
Right.
Because if you ain't gonna say, well, that's the Father, right? There's an angel, but he's saying, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Take them shoes off and you don't hold the ground.
Right.
Same thing said to Joshua. He said, look, I'm the captain. I'm the leader of the army of God. So this ain't the Father himself. You feel what I'm saying? That's his chief messenger once again, like, look, you with me, let's rock. I'm the one that got to go into there and battle for y'all anyway.
That's right.
Go ahead, Doc.
I was trying to make a distinction because I know that he has other angels like Michael and Gabriel, but you know, the one that was with the children of Israel all that time was the Messiah, right?
It would have to be. He said, stand still and see the salvation of Yah.
Right.
Salvation is Yahshua. Whenever you look it up in Hebrew, it says,
That's
stand
right.
still and see Yahshua.
Well, that hurts and that rubs them the wrong way.
Yeah, stand still and see salvation. Salvation in Hebrew is Yahshua. That's one of the names of Christ.
And that's who Moses called Caleb. He called Caleb Joshua. He changed Joshua's name to the worship.
Yeah.
It means God's salvation.
Yeah.
God's salvation.
Yeah, same type of name.
Children of Israel would have called him Joshua.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And y'all, what always accompanied this was a supernatural event. Y'all, if it ain't that and a man talking noise, when you hear supernatural events reduced to, the reason I followed this man is because he went and got a job, and they call it slavery. He went and got a job in slavery and slept on the floor to pay the rent at the building. Now, if I go get another job and sleep on the floor down here so we can pay the rent down here, does that make y'all worship me and give me the title of a high priest? I want keys, I want bank accounts, y'all. Huh? How y'all looking like that?
Sound crazy, don't it?
Yeah.
So they look at an event like he got an extra job or got a job and say the eviction notice got pulled off the door, and that's a miracle. That's being compared to what we're seeing happening with Moses and the Messiah. Those are the miracles. Like the one boy say, he told me, you know, get off street corner, pull my pants up. Your children to do that. Daddy, wear your belt. You ain't trying to sag, is you, with your old, no, Daddy, I'm just playing. But, I mean, this is what got you. That's a miracle. Or what they talk about. Ain't no other man ever got them back to Israel. If it's about theft, if it's about falsification of so you're going into the kingdom with theft on your conscience, so all of the law is being violated when you step foot on the land. We got here through law breaking. Oh Lord, praise the Lord. It's almost just like Christianity. And when Jesus comes, and ain't no law, you gonna be happy to see him because he's coming by to say, come on in here with all of that. Cato already got it popped. You know that ain't the truth. Yeah. Let's move on, y'all, because we're running out of time. What we at? John 20 and 20. Let's hit that real quick and pick back up on that Hebrews 7, y'all. Then we'll just get into a little bit of what Moses said in Deuteronomy 34. Gonna hit a little bit of Leviticus 11 and some Leviticus 5, y'all. And this is just basic law, y'all. And what we're going over is, if the priesthood ain't being examined first before you go into it, you're losing your way. Because you're spinning your wheels.
We're in John chapter 20, starting at verse 20. And when he had so said, he showed...
Back it up just a little bit, yeah. Just a couple verses, if you will. Yeah, 18.
So we're going to start at John 20, we're going to start at verse 18.
What it say?
Mary Magdalene came and told the disciples that she had seen the Lord and that he had spoken these things unto her.
Right.
Then the same day at evening, being the first day of the week, when the doors were shut, where the disciples were assembled, for fear of the Jews, came Jesus and stood in the midst and said unto them, peace be unto you.
So he's agreed with Melchizedek. All throughout it, peace, y'all. Peace be unto you. That's how you come. Shalom. Shalom. That's all it's saying. Shalom, y'all. Go ahead.
Also in that Isaiah 9 and 6, he's called Prince of Peace.
Prince of Peace.
That's one of his prophesied titles.
One of his titles, y'all. It's not making him the father. It's just, he's just part of the oldest, ancient establishment, hierarchy, throne hierarchy that ever existed. He was right there with it. He was created, and then everything else was created after that for him. The Father already had the universe. Son, that's for you down there, all that. But it's going to be a connection between this and that. But all that's for you. Go on, handle your business, make your thing. You got my okay on it. You give your son your okay, don't you? You look at him before he leave out. You got all your equipment. How you going to go put up a shelf and you ain't got no hammer? But they say these boots I got on the heel as hard as a hammer. You. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 20. And when he had so said, he showed unto them his hand.
Right.
And his side.
Right.
Then were the disciples glad when they saw the Lord.
So now before this, a couple verses before this, you'll see he told Mary, you can't touch me. I'm going back to my Father. But he preserved the holes in his hand. So when we talk about this is flesh of my flesh, and you hear it saying, God is spirit, and he must be worshiping spirit, so ain't no Messiah. He's telling you that there is supernatural flesh. When Ezekiel looked up there, he saw it from the loins upward was the color of amber, wasn't it? That's a shape and a form, ain't it?
And a color.
And a color. So you can't get caught up into all the different languages because he says visible and invisible. So it's times when you don't see nothing, and it's times he have to let you know I exist. So you don't get too far off, and that'll be excuse. You ain't never showed yourself to me. How I know you was there? You're not going to have those conversations that we have with naysayers and gainsayers with the Most High. He's not going to sit down and be listening to childish tomfoolery.
Yeah.
His instructions say don't do it in Proverbs 26, 4 and 5. Answer not a fool in his folly. Then the next verse say, answer a fool in his folly so that he don't get wise in his conceit. So it's a time when you can answer a fool, and then there's a time you don't. If he say, I can make a book of talk, there's no discussion with that.
I don't know, Dave. Pull that mug out, somebody gonna say,
Hey, but if it talk, that's the problem.
right.
But if he say something wise in his own conceit, you may have to answer that. Well, you know the Bible tampered with anyway. That's foolish talk. That means you have to scratch holy off of here. You have to answer that then, chapter and verse. Foolish man, so you don't go a step farther. And then make him show you where him foolish. You talking foolish talk about this. You have to answer a fool at that point. But crazy stuff, ain't no need to entertain that. Who gonna get mad at the end? Damn dog, ain't mean it all like that for you to get all hot in the collar like that. Hold up, swole up. Ain't all of that. And you like, why am I arguing about this anyway? Go ahead, read some more, bro.
Verse 21. Then said Jesus to them again, peace be unto you. As my Father has sent me, even so send I you. And when he had said this, he breathed on them.
What did he do?
Breathed on them. And said unto them, receive ye the Holy Ghost.
So what happened in Genesis 1? What happened to Adam? How did he become a living soul? So I'm just doing what I did in the garden. I did the breathing then. Adam is the product of his work. We have to understand these things. If you take the Father off the throne, Satan was in the heavens when he looked up. He wasn't down here on earth and like, I'm going back up there and take over. He was in it says the war was in heaven. The war wasn't on earth. So he was looking to go above his rank and get up there. But we look at this thing like the Father had to get off his throne. Let me go over to planet Neptune, Lucifer acting crazy. I'm going to get up again and go over here. Go over here. Didn't I tell y'all? Didn't I?
Now he make the orders and call the orders. Right? But his word gets done.
But his word get done. It does not come back void. It ain't coming back. Lord, we almost got all of them, but 2 of them got away.
Nah.
Go back.
You get it done.
Go back and get all of them, like I said. That's here it happened on earth, didn't he? Didn't he tell Saul, I told you, all of them, women, baby, all of them. Lord, we got a bond, we tight. Y'all tight. You tighter than somebody with me? I tell you what, me and you through talking, you call him. And we see what happened. Didn't answer him through Urim and Thummim, not through the priest, not the prophet. No, we ain't heard from the Lord about you, Saul. We ain't heard nothing. Damn, he ain't saying nothing. He done took his hands off me. And then somebody whispered, you didn't kill all of the Miss Rudolphs. It's a couple of them over there in indoors. And then you can see when wickedness, sin starts to get practiced, and it's called wickedness. Get my cloak.
Yeah, he hooded up.
What you looking for hoodied up? What are you looking for? What righteousness you looking for like this? Let's move on, y'all. Did we finish that?
Hey, Johnny, I also want to bring something up to you, bro. Like, when you actually read the script, I mean, because a lot of us spit out what we call conditioned responses. When you read and your question, check it out. Was Adam dealing with God in the garden, or was he dealing with the voice of God? And then I ask you, who is the voice of God?
Yes, sir.
Read Genesis 3 and 8. When Adam and them hid, it was the voice of God that walked through the garden.
And I thought about that. I said, how do a boy walk?
The voice of God walk. So that's who you've been dealing with the whole time. Who you been dealing with the whole time.
Voice of God
He's
is the word
still
of
called
God.
the
It
tree
said
of
the
life.
Holy One of Israel and his creator. Who you been dealing with the whole time?
Right.
Did he ever leave his throne, or does like Mally say, he give the order and that work get done?
That work get done. And that rock was Christ that led them through the Red Sea. That's what
That's all
Paul
the
said.
scriptures say.
That rock was Christ.
Blasphemer!
Yeah.
Just like that.
Hollering loud.
But the whole time blind to obvious truths and the deal with whoever they call non-messianics or those that did not. So should we say that those that did not the Messiah? Because you won't even find that term in there. But those that deny, they only dealing with a selective scriptures even in the Old Testament.
That's right.
They're not dealing with the entire Old Testament. That's how Paul knew the Pharisees was hypocrites. See, like, look, come on now, I was a master at this horse and pony show. Y'all
Right.
getting this off. I mean, y'all know good and well y'all refusing to deal with this thing before Moses was even born. And we got history in this Old Testament about before Moses was born.
Right.
How we gonna deny this?
Is that the reason why only a third will be saved? Because I'm quite sure a lot of brothers know they're Hebrew, but do they actually accept the Messiah as who he is?
Yeah, you gotta believe on him as it's written.
They tell you in Matthew 8, many gonna come from the east and the west. And sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom.
Yeah.
But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out in the outer darkness.
Uh-oh.
You
So
said
what's gonna be?
You
The
said
children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Yeah.
So just because you a brute, you understand, but having accepted who the Messiah is, your judgment is the same for any non-believing Hebrew.
That's right.
Judgment starts in
No
He got-
respect of
he got a
persons
spot
at that
for you.
point.
So he like, look, Abraham, if anybody we know in the kingdom, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
That's right.
According to Messiah. You understand? And there's gonna be many that ain't of the bloodline covenant that will be allowed into the Most High's kingdom. You understand? Or dealing with his kingdom when it's reigning on this earth. But it is those that is of the bloodline covenant that's gonna miss the mark. You know what I'm saying? We here to make sure we don't miss the mark, but it's brothers, just because you know you a brew ain't good enough. John the Baptist told him, like, look, man, Most High can make Israelites out of bricks,
No.
out of stones. So just because you circumcised and got a garment on, you feel me? If it dunked some water, some creek water, don't mean you guarantee to get in.
No.
You
No.
understand? You have to make your call and election sure with this thing and really believe in the promised Messiah that was prophesied to come. That's the whole thing. And his brother, and it's wild because the prophets say the Messiah would be a rock of offense and stumbling. You understand? To him that believe, he's precious. You know what I'm saying? But to those that's against this, he's a rock of offense and stumbling.
Ooh,
So
boy.
that means even today, if Messiah was here, many people will be offended and many people will be rejected, even in the Hebrew paradigm of belief.
Or do y'all understand that a rock of offense
Yeah.
is like a raised piece of concrete you walking with groceries? Failed yesterday.
Did you, bro?
Failed the day before that. It's a rock of offense. You keep tripping over it. And that hurt, don't it? You be just sitting down there after you get through looking around, seeing who's looking. And then do it tomorrow. So Paul was doing the same thing, wasn't he? Kicking against the pricks. I just got a toothpick like that. You just keep kicking. I'm gonna wear that toothpick down. I'm gonna wear it down, and I'm just sitting like this. The edge of your toe gonna be a thimble soon, full of little tiny holes that you ain't be able to put a shoe on because you keep kicking at the prick. You keep kicking what hurts you. Why? Why that? And you think, well, yeah, my toe may be hurt, but I told you how I really felt though.
I got it off my chest.
Okay, we even. Go ahead. That was it. Let's get back to this Hebrews 7. Y'all gonna catch up on that, just get into a little bit of Deuteronomy 34 and understand, y'all, what Moses was passing on. I just want to get you a little bit of that Numbers 22, y'all, because I want to show y'all Aaron court-martial. So y'all understand where court-martialing came from. When you see a soldier up there and that guy just read and they reading off and the crime of such and such, the penalty for a sham. You a master sergeant, now you got bucks privates left and they reaching for that one. And they turn them off with precision.
Been demoted.
Birds, pluck.
Where we at?
We're in the book of Hebrews, chapter 7, verse 10. For he was yet in the loins of his father when Melchizedek met him.
So when the priesthood met him, you know, when Melchizedek met him, when that priesthood met him, you know, and you just call him Melchizedek, like we just say Aaron. You talking Aaron. Or the law of Moses, but who do all these laws belong to? Who did gave them to them? See, and that's what we talking again. People will say the law of Moses and say we are idol worshipers, and they're calling it the law of Moses and ain't giving the Father no respect. Moses didn't write them laws. Those laws was written with the finger of who? God. If he got through signing that contract, he took it down. Now go down there and show him the paperwork. Y'all's we's married. We married, y'all. These the rules to the marriage, and it's gonna make us live forever and grow old together. That's right. But like bro, you were saying about the third of the stars, and because Most High deal in completion, everything comes full circle. We don't know how many of the third of the angels that fell, but I don't know, could we replace that and it stays complete? Because it says those that resurrected won't be like those that live it, for you be like angels. Could we be completing the whole circle again?
If no was a whole number. No was a whole number, because a third failed.
A third fail, that means that's 2/3. That's a count, ain't it? But what's the count? We don't know. But it's going to be complete. Do we replace the fallen? He's perfect in everything he does. Yeah, you got a few of them back, but still kill more than you got back. You think Satan going to be able to sit back and say that?
Not what that asshole.
Or do we feel the void? Now don't put it down and say, now you're talking some new gospel. The third is the third of the angels that fell. I'm talking about righteousness being replaced. If the Messiah cleaned up Adam's act, he said, y'all gonna clean up the rest of the work. Y'all sitting on thrones judging the tribes of Israel. Do some cleanup work here. That's all I'm saying, y'all. Where we at? Hebrews 7 and 10.
Verse 11. If therefore perfection were by the Levitical priesthood,
Right.
for under it the people received the law, what further need was there that another priest should rise after the order of Melchizedek?
After the what?
The order of Melchizedek, and not be called after the order of Aaron.
How is it that this scripture get past all these camps I heard and there's no discussion about two different orders and being explained? If Aaron is good, like they're saying, why is the Old Testament Aaron talking about Melchizedek then? He talking about himself? I ain't gonna be around, Lord. You know, y'all, I got limited powers. My kryptonite is when the Messiah's born, I tail off then. I mean, they're looking at this like, okay, that's that, talking about that mysterious person again that don't nobody seem to have an answer for. Melchizedek. You hear 1,000 different answers about Melchizedek. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 12. For the priesthood being changed.
Being what?
Being changed.
See, the law never changed. It says what changed?
The priesthood.
See, if you ain't understanding the change, you're going to look at the laws differently. You're going to look at them like how the priest did. Sometimes there was mercy, sometimes it what? Sometimes it was this, sometimes it what? Under that priesthood. But when you ain't understanding this for the priesthood being changed, the priesthood was changed. What changed about the priesthood? That's the question.
The priest.
The what?
The priest.
Yes, sir. And what else?
We always been in the order of Melchizedek. So what's changed?
Absolutely, bro. So you just get back to where you started. We just going full circle. Y'all, don't y'all want to know what it feels like to see eternity and no wickedness? I mean, just once.
One full day.
I'm talking about everybody doing it. You having a good day, everybody laughing, and then no bad news get to come through. Boy, I told him. What? Who? No! Hell no! And everybody else goes, no, man, don't say it. Say it ain't so. Talking to Earl, man. Yeah.
They got a will.
I'm talking about that ain't never happening no more. If it is, it's good news. Say, yes, sir, where you at? Over on Montgomery. Got 1,000 sheep, and what I mean that mansion is. That's what we want to hear. Yes, sir. Going over there right now. Go ahead, where we at, bro?
For the priesthood being changed, there is made of necessity a change also of the law.
See, there have to be a change of law. And that moves from the law of sacrifice to a law of faith and belief. That's the change. Why do they want to make this change something totally that ain't written in here and so hard to understand? And you got both sides of this, non-messianic and Sunday doctrine. Do the same thing. They want to say the law, this say change, this don't say nailed to the cross.
Or done away with.
Or done away with. Let's read some more.
Verse 13. For he of whom these things are spoken pertaineth to another tribe, of which no man gave attendance at the altar.
Right.
For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah,
That's right.
of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood.
See, that would be a problem within itself. You still got a problem with this Melchizedek if you think he's some mysterious individual and he's going back to the Old Testament. He's going back to quote it to you. Paul was excellent in how he did that. You say I ain't doing that, I'm gonna quote scriptures on you all day long.
Boy.
And the reason y'all don't hear what I'm saying is because if Moses was your father, Abraham was your father, you would do as he do. All y'all talking about this stuff, you talking about as the priest, and what priest you talking about? Them priests y'all just set up? That deacon, who ain't got no skill? How you gonna make me a deacon off of my W-2 form? A deacon can't be a novice. He must be skilled in the word. Most of his time he gonna be around the church or the synagogue. The rest of the time, if he got one wife, he gotta tend to her. That's it. You get cut off. You get limitations with this. You got too much work to do. You're gonna be moving. And then you gotta have a job too. But they'll just make a deacon off of his W-2. Oh, Chrysler?
Boy, man.
Been there 22 years, huh? Oh, annual bonus. An annual bonus, so. I think, church, we found our deacon.
You know I had no money.
Y'all know it ain't got no skill. You a deacon, how they offering you deacon position, you been there 2 weeks. You already messed up when they asked you to preach. I want y'all to turn to the book of Psalms. It's Psalms. So Psalms. With me. When you understand this, y'all, ain't no need you just entertaining that or arguing with that. Let's get to this meat, y'all. Go ahead, brother. Where we at?
Verse 15.
Hold on for a quick second. Another point, you talking about this full circle trip off of this. The first Melchizedek that we read about was the king of Salem.
Yeah.
Christ came out the tribe of Judah, which the priesthood had no officiation over the altar.
What?
So now the king has came back
Yeah.
through
Full
the king bloodline.
Full circle.
Full circle. Through David as prophesied to sit on the throne.
He wasn't
Full circle
prophesied as the first event. It wasn't that. It was just restructuring the same event that already had happened. That failed with Adam. Reformation. All he doing is just cleaning up what happened with Adam. It just taking this turn to get here, but we're dealing with high priests of eternity and deals with everything dealing with them is the words of ancient and everlasting. and forever are tied to them. How then do you look at them in the same lifespan you do as a man? We're talking everlasting, people that's been around so long that he has a title of Ancient of Days. I'm talking about before Genesis 1, he's ancient to that. Now when we talk about ancient, we talk about somebody so old, like he's so old to day one. And we act like this thing got to be put down at Mount Sinai for it to be believable. Go ahead, bro. Where we at?
Hebrews chapter 7, verse 15. And it is yet far more evident, for that after the similitude of Melchizedek, there ariseth another priest, who is made not after the law of a carnal commandment, but after the power of an endless life.
After the power of a what?
An endless life.
So we see how this high priest was made. The power of an endless life. That's supernatural, ain't it? That's how he was made versus the Hebrews 2:15, 14, where we bagged it up, how he had to be reduced like us. It's talking two different languages. But he don't want y'all to get it twisted that what you see now always existed. It was there at the beginning. He's not telling you anything else. He said it's just going back to righteousness because unrighteousness is going to be gotten rid of forever. Ever. I'm talking about y'all. You ain't got to sneak no TV in the house. They lights still on next door. Yeah. Damn, I'm gonna circle the block again. It's off, and you gotta bring yours in because you can't let nobody see you bring nothing into your house. You think this living? Just once, you ain't got to say, lock that door behind you. For what? Who coming in? To do what? You ain't never got to say that no more. But y'all, we got to work to get there. We got to practice that now. You ain't gonna have no understanding when you get there. You'll just be looking around like somebody looking around and don't know what it is. Y'all been seeing that look on people. They don't know what to do. Y'all done seen the confusion of somebody trying to learn electric slide when it's 3 minutes into the song. Bumping into each other, they move you back, and you somebody trying to guide you and spin you, but you just destroying everything.
Hey, boy.
Where we at, y'all? What y'all?
We got John.
Yeah, but there will be some, just like it was some people that got out of Egypt with the Hebrews, okay? You know, Hebrews that came out of Egypt too, but they weren't right though. Will it be the same process when brothers leave? When the Most High calls his children back from the four corners, will there be some unrighteous brother that comes?
We're going to Ezekiel 20:33, but I want to finish this up, and we're going to hit a couple more, then we're going to go right to that Ezekiel 20. But go ahead and finish this up just a little bit more.
Verse 17. For he testified.
For who testified? Go ahead.
Thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek.
See, it says there's an order. This what you the priest after. And when there's order lists how things go. This has got to be in place like this. This has to be in place like this. This has to be in place like that. That's order, ain't it? You have order in your home, don't you? Huh? Ain't nothing wild gonna be going on. What you mean, company at 3 o'clock in the morning? Who was that opening my door? Oh, it ain't nobody but Earl. He was riding through the neighborhood, just stopped through. So y'all gonna have coffee and talk at 3 in the morning. Y'all know the rules. If y'all ain't gonna accept it here, y'all know the Father ain't accepting it. Ain't no need us fooling ourselves. Where we at, bro? Read some more of that.
Verse 18. For there is verily a disannulling of the commandment going before the weakness and unprofitableness thereof.
Right.
For the law made nothing perfect.
What the law do?
Made nothing perfect. But the bringing in of a better hope did, by the which we draw nigh unto Yah.
Right.
And inasmuch as not without an oath he was made priest.
Okay.
For those priests were made without an oath, but this with an oath by him that said unto him, the Most High swear, and will not repent, thou art a priest forever, after the order of Melchizedek.
So it's talking about Aaron them. It wasn't no oath really, or a sworn testimony that the Most High made to Aaron and his sons that they was gonna run it forever. And Aaron, it shall be Levites forever. Y'all shall run the promise forever. Ain't no oath to that. The Lord ain't on record swearing to that. David didn't say that. The Lord has sworn, thou art a priest forever after the order of Aaron. Where that's written at? Huh? Nowhere is it. So we understand what this scripture is saying. That priesthood was set to decrease, just like John the Baptist said when he was baptized into repentance. He said, I must decrease. He must what? Increase. So if it's just water baptism, what causes increase if both of y'all doing water baptism? What would be the increase? What would be the increase? It's the same practice. But we see here again, breathing of the Holy Spirit, power changes. Power changes everything. When you got power, now if you get baptized and then you're touched and you receive the Holy Spirit, all praises. But you still need that power today. You're dealing with warlocks and sorcerers. I'm talking about chief sorcerers. These magicians y'all seeing, Penn and Teller, Blake and Chris Angel, these are champion warlocks. They're like they oppose Moses. You need supernatural strength to deal with them. You can't just shout a bunch of nothings at them and think they're gonna run away. David Blaine's showing every day he coughing up frogs. Just like they did in Egypt, just like it say Revelation 13, and the wicked gonna cough up frogs. But we scared, great magic trick. You don't even see that this is already what was written. Iniquity already doth work. Frog coughing is already on the planet. And it's finna heat up. Where we at?
Verse 22. By so much was Yeshua made a surety of a better testament.
See, of a what kind of testament?
A better testament.
A better testament. We're talking about you are following the order of a priest that kept the order to its letter. Didn't deviate one iota from it. Showed how Melchizedek was coming in when he showed mercy. And then allowed a woman to be stoned to death. Showed mercy and favor all the time to this person. Go home, your daughter's healed. You believed. Did that Roman soldier get baptized? No. Lord, if you just speak it, I know your words have power. I didn't see what you did. Just say it. She healed. Go home. And when he got home, that little girl was combing that down her. Hello, Father. And he thinking, that's got to be the Son of God. Them priests was talking about taking my chariot and getting in on a loan on the home before they can lay hands. That's what they did. They milked you out of the money. The woman with the disease for 12 years, who would say she paid her money to? Doctors and them high priests. Oh, sister, you must be kidding. 2 farthings for the disease of steady running? It's a wonder you haven't bled to death. And you come here with 2 farthings. So now your cure is based on income. But the Messiah came through there, he like, who touched me? No, they like, Lord, everybody reaching and grabbing at you. How we know who touched you? Everybody touching at you. Somebody touched me. Faith touched me. And she looked around and she was like that. Dried up like that. Dried up.
Oh, man.
Yo, and see, it sounds like I'm going left field, but I didn't get the parable about the event that's happening. It's the event that lets you know that this is a major problem for any woman. You can't stop it. You're reverse of what it is. You own 21 off 7. When is it not an unclean time? How you gonna have company?
Yeah.
Where they gonna sit?
Especially in that day, yeah.
Who gonna eat your food ever?
I ain't say she
You
had
know the
blood.
term we're going on, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. Same cruel people. That's that woman can't stop bleeding. Yo, it didn't give us these descriptions for us to look like this a child's book. This is the book of life. It's dealing with the real problems that you can't go to a doctor to get the answer from. You got to come to the real doctor, y'all. Why you gonna have parables in here of things we can conquer on a daily basis? This is how you'll know the spirit, because you don't do things supernaturally. Get up and walk. And somebody get up and take their bed up. Everybody gonna do like this. Where we at? Let's finish this, y'all. We gotta move on. We got a little bit of time.
Verse 23.
What's it say?
And they truly were many priests, because they were not suffered to continue by reason of death. But this man, because he continueth ever, hath an unchangeable priesthood.
What kind of priesthood?
An unchangeable priesthood.
Do y'all see how we keep using the word priesthood with Melchizedek and Aaron all tied into the same thing and tied, and it keeps saying priesthood versus some mysterious individual? This is an order you have to wrap your mind around every time you see law. Let me study Aaron. Let me get that milk. Let me graduate to meat. Melchizedek is meat. Let me graduate to the true bread. Because Luke knows what he said. He said, Moses gave you that bread that came down from heaven, that manna bread, the angel's bread, but y'all died. I'm the true bread that come down from heaven so y'all can live. And I want y'all to think about what he just said. He said manna bread came from heaven and y'all still died. Eating that bread ain't gonna make you live. So who around here pumping up the best diet on earth? Is any of them diets gonna get you over the death angel?
No?
The death angel is gonna be coming and say, oh shit, hold on, demons. He been eating that manna bread. We can't go up in there. No, the demon coming right in there to do what he did unless you have that true bread. And he has to stand off.
The true water.
That true water. And look at it. And this is all it's saying, y'all. If you pumping the law from average perspective, you just, what they call spinning your wheels. Racing in mud. Let's read some more.
Verse 25.
What it says?
Wherefore he is able also to save them to the uttermost that come unto Yah by him, seeing he ever liveth to make intercession for them. For such an high priest became us.
What does high priest do?
Became us, who is holy, harmless, undefiled, separate from sinners, and made higher than the heavens.
So is this General Yahan? Is this the discomforter? Is this free case rate?
No.
So why would we apply them type of title and look at them, and when they come in the room you holler bishop on deck and stand up? Bishop on deck. They standing up. He walking through. Lord, there he is. Lord, have mercy. There you go.
I got my purpose.
Surely you just. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 27. Who needed not daily as those high priests to offer up sacrifice, first for his own sins, and then for the people's. For this he did once, when he offered up himself.
See, he said the high priest under Aaron They first had to go in there and offer up sacrifices for their sins under that priesthood. And then for the people. That's why the high priest, who could only go behind the holies of holies, when you see how his robe was made, and it said put bales on the bottom of his robe. So when he would go back there, they would have a rope on there. And he back there, and he first offering his sin, they shake it every now and then, he shake back, ting-a-ling-ling-ling. The high priest still in there, put down the prayer. You go. Big ears, come in, can you hear that?
Three
I don't hear
fingers.
nothing, I don't hear nothing.
It's official. He's on.
So, when the angel had Zechariah, when he was making the offer to John the Baptist daddy,
Yeah.
talk to him about John the Baptist. He like, oh, you like the fat mouth, huh? I told you what's going down. Call him John. What I care about ain't nobody but in your family named John. What that mean to me? This what the Father say, call him John. Okay, I tell you what, the next time you open your mouth, the first words out of your mouth gonna be John. I'm gone. And the people waiting, he tarried to come out, and they pulled a little chain, tarried to come out. They thought he was dead, then he showed up, they, oh! And he beckoned them with his hand. They're like, something happened. Come on, Lord. Come on, Lord. As soon as the baby born, mouth loosened, they say, what we gonna call him, John? John, J-O-H-E, or however it was pronounced in Hebrew. Where we at?
Verse 28.
What it say?
For the law maketh men high priests which have infirmity, but the word of the oath, which was since the law, maketh the Son, who is consecrated forevermore.
See, so this is what you have to look at. If you're just looking at the law from this perspective and not looking at the lawgiver, the chief lawgiver, you wasting your time, you spinning your wheels. You spinning your wheels. It's gonna cost you in the end because you keep looking back. You're pulling a Lot's wife. And then when it don't go your way, it gets salty under Aaron. Hold that, bro.
That's it on that.
That's it on that? Okay. Let's get right to the heart of it. Deuteronomy 34. Huh?
I ain't never gonna get to that.
Yeah.
Deuteronomy.
34. And I tell you what, first before I go there, I want y'all to understand what happened to Moses and Aaron. Hit me Numbers 20 first before we go to Deuteronomy 34. I want to show y'all a court martialing.
Is it numbers what?
20. Start about 22.
20, 25?
Yeah, could I know?
Yeah.
Okay. How long are you now?
He said he wanted to try to stay here more.
Okay, good.
For the 22.
Yes, sir.
No ass down there.
So you boy, Numbers 20, 22.
Numbers chapter 20, verse 22. Numbers chapter 20, verse 22. And the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, journeyed from Kadesh and came unto Mount Hor. And the Most High spake unto Moses and Aaron in Mount Hor by the coast of the land of Edom, saying, Aaron shall be gathered unto his people, for he shall not enter into the land which I have given unto the children of Israel.
Hold it right there. Y'all see, y'all thought it was just Moses. Aaron didn't get to see it either. Most people don't understand that Aaron didn't go over either. It wasn't like, yeah, bro, you tripped, huh? You know, I'll tell you about it on the other side when I see you then. He didn't get to go either. Look over at it, take a peek at it. Go ahead, bro.
I have given unto the children of Israel, because ye rebelled against my word at the water of Meribah.
See, the rebellion at the waters of Meribah. Aaron was standing right there too when he struck that rock. See, David speak about the ill-advised lips at the waters of Meribah. Now, y'all think about this. Moses still gonna be in the kingdom. And Aaron from everything that we're reading. But years later, they are disciplined for challenging the hierarchy. When you challenge the hierarchy, when you break rank, it's gonna be a problem. And the Most High never forgets. He say, man, I forget things. Y'all think he forgot? Did your parents forget? Did all of a sudden you just wake up a month later after stealing and feel a belt at 2 o'clock in the morning? And what I do? You know what you did? What? That's stealing. You waited this long? You the devil, mama. But she said it was time now to deliver. You done got comfortable. Some more things showed up on your dresser that you ain't got money for. It's time to straighten this matter out at 3 o'clock in the morning. In the summer, you land up with just dun-dun-dun-duns on, stretched out. I'm just about tidy whities. Little boy clothes. Like superheroes. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Yeah. Stressed out, you just start feeling level in you. So in like manner, the Most High show mercy and let you live, but he said, I got to get you. I got to get you so that they don't fall off. Go ahead, bro, read some more. Glowworm.
Take Aaron and Eleazar his son and bring them up unto Mount Hor and strip Aaron of his garment.
Do what of his garment?
And strip Aaron of his garment. And put them upon Eleazar his son.
So you see how his garments only move into his sons. Aaron and his sons are the high priests. This garment can't go on Moses' descendant. It goes on your next son in line. Go ahead, read some more.
And Aaron shall be gathered unto his people, and shall die there. And Moses did as the Most High commanded, and they went up unto Mount Hor, in the sight of all the congregation.
In the sight of what?
Of all the congregation. And Moses stripped Aaron of his garment.
Look, Moses stripped him. Ain't that something you? Look, big bro, I got a court martial. When the Lord done said this, he pulling off them priestly robes. I didn't strike the rock, it was you.
Notice what he's saying, bro. Notice what he's saying to him, bro.
Go ahead.
I got that.
And put them on Eleazar his son. And Aaron died there in the top of the mount. And Moses and Eleazar came down from the mount.
See, it was 3 went up, but how many come back down? 2. Go ahead.
And when all the congregation saw that Aaron was dead, they mourned for Aaron 30 days, even all the house of Israel.
So we always have mourning periods. You see 30 days, 40 days. Jacob was extended to 70 days because all of Egypt, y'all get into the 56th chapter of the book of Jasher. They say there ain't never been a funeral like that on earth. All of the 12 sons had that casket. It was in perfect position. However you 5 on each side and 1 on each end, or however the numbers made up, but all of them had that solid brass casket. And the funeral lasted, and I mean, I'm talking about like Egypt was the top of the world, like America is today. They made a proclamation to all the nations. Joseph dead. Everybody need, like you see a president and all the other nations come out and everybody's mourning that president of another nation. They said they never been nothing like this ever seen on earth. And then when they got to the burial plot, guess who they run into? Esau. He's like, man, I own this burial plot. Jacob like, no, I got the paperwork. What the paperwork, y'all? Give me the paperwork. Oh, it's got left in Egypt. What? Naphtali. Naphtali was so fast, they say he could run on top corn stalks, and they wouldn't bend. Go get that paperwork. We left it in Egypt. Pew! Pew! Now I want y'all to think this is a document almost 400 years old or older. Abraham made that deal before we went into Egypt.
Before we was even born.
And that contract was passed down, and when they got back, signed by the Hamites, because that's who we purchased it from. Here it is right here. Hamites look at, that's the signature. That's Chief Shechem's signature of the Hamites of the royal family of zebra eaters. Yes, that's him.
They couldn't even ride the
But that's it. And Jacob was buried. But it was a war there, y'all. It's a lot of language, y'all. A lot of things that we ain't got deep into, that we have the records already out here on which way we should go. Which way, when you hear the script say, order your steps have to be ordered by Melchizedek. That priesthood, you have to order your steps that way so you walk this way. If you don't, and you try to walk at Aaron and Melchizedek, you're going to have what we call sloop foot. You ever seen anybody with sloop feet? Yeah. They turn this way. How would one ever go skating with sloop feet? That's what I'm trying to think.
Hey, whoa. Don't worry about them people.
Okay.
They skating straight line.
Go ahead.
They skating straight line.
Yeah. Doing the crazy leg. Did you read all that? Did you finish that? Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish 30. I mean 29. You done with that? Okay. All good, y'all. Just wanted y'all to see that Deuteronomy 34.
Get stripped.
Right. Deuteronomy 34, y'all. We ain't gonna go too much longer, y'all. It's in 3:30 hours, so you got a little bit more. We just want to get a couple more scripts in there.
Yep, Deuteronomy 34.
And y'all, and this is just Moses passing the baton, so to speak. You know, passing on to the next generation and the laws of how we're supposed to keep them. Y'all know after that veil was rent, when that thing tore, when the Messiah got crucified and you could peek back there, you used to couldn't look back there, only the high priest could go back there. But when that rent, that was the thing that told you this priesthood over. The promise has been fulfilled. Orders have switched. Change of the law has come. You can look back there now. So at that point, y'all, we switched to Melchizedek. So at this point, you need to order your steps from 2,000 years ago, that veil renting, to starting that walk. And pass it on. And your thought process is that if you die, you leave people behind and take care of your business with that understanding, like John, who the disciple who Christ loved, the disciple who Christ loved. His mama crying, looking up at him on that cross. Mama, don't cry. You be cool. I'm just going for a little while. You don't worry about it. I got somebody here for you. John, behold thy mother. Mother, behold thy son. This is what we truly call God's sons and God's mothers. They're doing the work of the Most High in place of somebody else. John took care of Christ's mother till she died or he died. Look at him like you would look at me. He's worthy of that. This servant here, I know him. I know him. We've been close. We bosom buddies, so to speak. Yeah. John, take care of my mama. How many of y'all do that? Put somebody in the place of your mom? No, I used to be a player back in the day. Ooh, not my mama. Have my mama in a tracksuit at the club at 3 o'clock in the morning. No, sir. Have a nod at the table, can't stay up. No, you ain't gonna get my mama like that. I'm just messing with y'all. Deuteronomy chapter 34.
Start about 7.
Yeah, you can pick all that up. Should have got it.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
so the one.
Yeah.
Deuteronomy chapter 34, verse 1. And Moses went up from the plains of Moab unto the mount of Nebo, to the top of Pisgah, that is over against Jericho. And the Most High showed him all the land of Gilead unto Dan, and all Naphtali, and the land of Ephraim, and Manasseh, and all the land of Judah, unto the utmost sea, and the south, and the plain of the valley of Jericho, the city of palm trees unto Zoar.
So this is a description when he showed, we read in Exodus, he showed Moses all the land. This is the breakdown. This is what he's showing him. Look at this. This land over here and this land over here. I'm going to show you all of what you was going to be able to just tread across in righteousness. But one, y'all, and this is not so much as the act as it was the slip of the tongue. It was the tongue that made the act go forth. And that's what he's really, or the script keeps saying, spoke ill-advisedly. Yo, we can talk ourselves into damnation. You can speak yourself right into trouble. And it'll come back to haunt you dearly. And everybody will be saying, well, what about all that water that came out and fed all them thirsty people in that cattle? What kind of God is that to just make them play games with them like that? That's what a lot of people will say. And never focus on Moses breaking rank. So you're going to give him a pass? Same way with David. It displeased David that the Lord killed that man that reached out and stopped the ark from falling. And it hit the deck and rolled over. And the Lord struck him with lightning. And David was displeased. He said, you got a problem with rules. You got a problem with rules. No, Lord. I know you're mad about this, but what did I say? Who did I say carry that ark? Who did I say touch it? What are the rules for the ark? It's to be buried up on the shoulders of Levites. 4 of them to carry it. That's why the hose was in it. And the hose run through. They wasn't there so you could just grab it by the pole hose and sit it on the back of an oxen cart. You think that's what the pole hose was for? Grab it around the pole hose. And then you went and got it illegally. You went and added a priest. We're going to war. We need the ark. Anybody spoke to the Lord? No. But look, it's routine. Just some routine stuff. A few Philistines. We need to put our foot in their rear end. We need the ark.
No.
Give me a couple dollars. We need the ark. Come on, take it. And put it on the back of an oxen cart. So instead of it leading you to war, it's following behind horse doo-doo. You don't think that horse running, pluka, in the ark back there, and you running into battle. If Moses had to take his shoes off and Joshua would take it off, what the ark look like trailing behind horse dung? To battle. You Philistines, we go.
Already out of order.
Already out of order. Struck him down, and he said, I told nobody touch the ark. I don't care about lightning hit him. I told everybody, should let it hit the ground. It wasn't supposed to be on an oxen cart. What are you saving it from? It's already out of order. They running out of order before the oxen stumble. It's out of order. And you mad. Now we mad at Moses. Let's read some more.
Verse 4. And the Most High said unto him, this is the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob, saying, I will give it unto thy seed, and have caused thee to see it with thine eyes, but thou shalt not go over thither. So Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there in the land of Moab, according to the word of the Most High. And he buried him in a valley in the land of Moab, over against Beth Peor. But no man knoweth of his sepulchre unto this day. And Moses was 120 years old when he died. His eye was not dim, nor his natural force abated.
So what do y'all think that means? His eyes will not dim, nor his natural strength
On top of
abated.
his game, he got 120.
He was still bearing children at 120. His strength wasn't abated. See, that was a check. That's what they did to David, didn't they? When David was on his deathbed,
Gave me a young girl.
go get Abigail.
Boy, that's what you here right now.
Abigail. Go get her. Whatever Abishag wasn't. Abishag, whatever her name was, but was one of the finest tenders in Jerusalem. Go get her and let her crawl up under the covers. But there's no discharge in the war when the death angel comes, and it don't matter who it is. The death angel said, David, I don't care nothing about that. Ain't no heat coming back in there. You feel me? And it said David got no heat. I don't care how she laid there and caressed and kissed. Nothing. Gummy bear. That was it. Go ahead. Y'all know it's just bending and stuff. Go ahead. Where you at?
So to show you how far we've gotten from our ways and our laws and our God, because people see that, they see a big age gap between him and that young gal. And people in this country say that's out of order.
For David and the young gal,
Yeah.
they say that was out of order.
Oh, he said today they would say this.
Looking at the area, I'm quite sure it was a very young, nice looking lady.
Yeah.
He young, and he was up there in age. You know what I mean? Yeah, so people would say that's kind of like, how would you say?
Pedophilia.
He too
Right,
old.
but that's if she was underage. See, a damsel don't just mean a 12-year-old girl. A damsel mean a young girl or an old girl that ain't had sex. Isaac was called a lad, and he was 37. But he had never touched a woman. 37.
Yeah, so he ain't have sex with her too though.
And then waited. And look, waiting wasn't a problem for Hebrews back in the day. We have a waiting problem today because we're in the microwave age.
Damn, see what you laughing
Let me
at, bro.
turn this microwave right to pulling panties off, right to ding. We married. Ding, 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 bell, on the microwave.
We's married.
And then, but it's the same thing. Microwave, it ain't gonna be married because it's gonna be cold in the center. Yo, it's just because it's gonna create issues. Yo, we moving too fast. We want to see this kingdom back too fast. You want to see the Messiah come back this soon and we ain't right? Yeah, we know what we did last night and what we was thinking on the way down here. And we ready for the Messiah? Who ready for him? I'm like, yeah, we want this to stop. But we got to look at that Amos 5:18, the day of the Lord. What is it for you? What do you got planned when he show up? What you got planned? A party? What you got planned when he show up?
Hennessy and a cigar.
Or are you thinking about what I left out on the Day of Atonement?
Yeah, you don't want that.
I catch it next year. I catch it, that's my 2018 goal.
Not your resolution.
Let's read some more, y'all, so we can move on. Yes, sir.
And then also that 1 Kings 1:4 about David and that damsel, it says that the king knew it not.
Yeah.
Even though she was laying in his bosom, trying to get his body heat back
Yeah.
because he was cold. You feel me? If anyone was to say that David was having his way, say if she was underage or whatever, you know what I'm saying? If anybody say David was having his way with an underage girl, right here it say that the king didn't know her, meaning he didn't
Right.
he didn't sexually know her, he had no sexual knowledge. You feel me?
It's just body heat.
And look, there was going to be a marriage ceremony. It was just going to be a deathbed ceremony.
On your way out.
Look, it's public knowledge. It ain't like he's sneaking with her, is it? She ain't got no husband, do she? No, Abishag. I mean, whatever her name was.
That was her name.
Abishag, look, you gonna be married. It's a dying man. You know, if you everything people been whispering about, he needs some strength back. Y'all just the woman of that day that any woman say, you know, this who you compare it to, but you know, we don't get into all of that, but we know one thing about it. The script say she was an eye catcher, so to speak. The daughter of such, but she wasn't no Lucy.
She wasn't so on the eyes?
No. She wasn't no Lucy, she just wasn't out there. She was being groomed already for a royal husband.
Right.
They just told her, look, it's gonna be earlier than we thought.
It's gonna be quickening.
And they knew, boy, they thought David was gonna walk out of there, holding hands and smiling, get the wine. Oh, she went on back to her parents' house.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna get too deep into that, y'all. I see y'all looking like, what he gonna say?
Oh, now you read the crowd. Now you read the crowd.
Let's get some more, y'all. I'm going back in my glow worm mode.
Verse 8, and the children of Israel wept for Moses in the plains of Moab 30 days.
How many days?
30 days.
How many days they weep for Aaron?
30 days.
30 days, y'all. See, so there was rules about how long you could mourn. You can't get out of line in mourning. There's law, because if you keep mourning, you're gonna talk yourself into dying. Why the Lord just didn't take me? That boy had everything going for himself. I done got older in the Lord. You can't decide that. So you have to cut mourning off. There's a period you can't go across. You have to keep living. They ain't coming back under no circumstances before the resurrection. They gone. Make that good memories versus you keep sitting there and you think you gonna mourn yourself and mourn them back to life. If I cry hard enough, the Lord will see how much I really cared about him. I just gotta tell him. I just gotta tell him what I didn't tell him. Too late! If you ain't told him then, you can tell him on the day of judgment. But it's gone now. Go ahead.
And Joshua, the son of Nun, was full of the spirit of wisdom.
See, what spirit did he have on him? Go ahead.
For Moses had laid his hands upon him, and the children of Israel hearkened unto him, and did as the Most High commanded Moses.
So Moses did what with his hand? Do we see again spiritual baptism in the Old Testament?
That's right.
And it's the same thing Paul did when the disciples received the Holy Spirit after being water baptized in Acts 19. They say we ain't so much as heard of the Holy Spirit. He said, how was you what baptism y'all done of John's baptism? He said, truly John baptized y'all to repentance, but that's as far as it went. You saying I ain't gonna do it no more. But we need you to walk a new walk, so hands got to be laid on you to see if baptism is working on you or you just a wet sinner. So just the same way in the spirit of wisdom came over Joshua as a young man. He just laid his hands on them and baptized them just like the order always been. We're coming back to the true order of understanding Melchizedek. They knew Aaron was a schoolmaster, you know, and that we had just been taught because we was in the land for 400 years. Y'all, we've been here for 400 years. Do y'all hear all the strange doctrines just going around? Yeah. That's because we've been here in captivity and the door is wide open for Mars Hills here. That's what Paul was talking about. Every doctrine was flying. People used to just sit up at Mars Hills and discuss strange doctrine every day. One shoe doctrine. Anything that you thought about, they would be discussing that. Paul, I ain't got time for that. Y'all, we don't have time for that. Don't waste your time and spin your wheel on doctrine that has no substance. You finished that, bro?
You want to go all the way down to it?
Yeah.
Verse 10. And there arose not a prophet since in Israel like unto Moses, whom the Most High knew face to face.
Now this killed this being Joshua, because Moses just laying his hands on Joshua. So how can Joshua be the high priest Moses spoke about? He's saying right here, Moses and Joshua standing there. It ain't been another priest that rise like Moses. You got both of them now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Go ahead, brother.
In all the signs and wonders.
All the what?
In all the signs and wonders.
You see what keep coming back, y'all, to show if there's been an intervention from on high? Miracles and wonders. Not lies and trickery. Miracles and wonders. Something that's out of the ordinary that you know is not supposed to be existing is happening right before my eyes. Signs and wonders. We see signs a lot of times, but don't even understand it. A blood moon, it's a sign. The problem is a lot of people like to date set when they see one. Because of what the script say, a dark moon, no lights. The only problem is a blood moon, you can still see it red, can't you? No, we're talking about total darkness. We're talking about like at the beginning of the world, Genesis 1 and 1, 1 and 2, when it hit. Boom, all lights out. I'm talking about when you look at your hand like this, you can't see this close. All lights out. What they gonna call it, a satellite, a grid problem? But if all the lights go off, the furnace ain't working. What the furnace need to get the light to the power? Electricity, though. You need gas. No sun, no heat on earth, is it? Are we gonna plunge into an ice age? No, you're just gonna be quick. He said, because I'm gonna destroy the Antichrist with my coming. So it'll be dark enough for you to say, soon as the lights go out and everybody who worship the Antichrist and call him God, that's when the lights go out. And you like, ain't this I done tripped. I done tripped. He ain't God. The lights just went out. When you see him feeling groping in the dark, wait a minute, this ain't God. And then the brightness of his coming light the whole world up again. Set everything back into place. Y'all ain't understanding the age we in. If a nuclear bomb go off tonight, we into purple rain. We're going into an ice age. Y'all, it's already 4 degrees out there. And that's with the sun. If they block the sun, now y'all ain't seen cold. Pray your flight be not in the what? Or but then you will see things ain't never been happening on planet Earth today. Y'all, if it went off right now, we would really get a soul checking in this class. Because you know what? If you take the mark of the beast, there's warm shelter here. There's buses to take you to warm shelter here. Dog, I'm gonna come back. I'm just going up there to spread that word at that shelter. Or on the back of that book.
You sold out too?
Yeah.
No, I'm just your second witness.
Y'all have to understand, y'all, we're going to be put in positions where it tries your faith. But we already got examples. We got Job, we got Lot, we got everybody we got Daniel, he ain't gonna never leave us, y'all. You can think out of nuclear holocaust. You can think your mind out of so cold that you freeze to death. And it's already telling you, you never technically freeze to death. Your body go through processes, and teeth chattering is the last sign before hypothermia sets in. When hypothermia sets in, cold goes away. You never feel any more cold, you just die. You die off, you don't feel frostbite, and you know how cold get? When you get past the point where David was, the death angel right there, you don't feel anything anymore. You die out. It's just like fire. Fire don't really kill you, it's the smoke that kills you. You never feel yourself being burned up. The smoke, once it grabbed you like a barbecue pit, you have to run off and eyes watering. That's what take you, but it get to the point that smoke so thick in your nose you can't breathe. There ain't no room to run and do like this and blow it out of your nose. It's just packing smoke down in your lung and you die, and then the fire burn you up. So y'all gotta understand a lot of things about this cold. So when you thinking about that, you go into the same mindset of when you die out, you don't technically freeze to death, you drift off to sleep. You just blocking cold out. If we righteous and the Most High put those gifts on us, we'll block cold out. Be sitting out there domino. Big six, bro. Polar bears like this and you. Come in there. But you know what I'm saying? It would even affect you like fire. That's right. Y'all got to think about these things are supernatural. He said fire is weighed before he puts justice on somebody else. Who want to try that? Who out here is a fire weigher? Put a little lighter fluid in both palms and let me squirt, put that fire on and you just tell, no, this one, it's just a little bit heavy over here. Anybody want to take the test? Okay. Did we finish that? No. Okay, go ahead. Let's finish this, y'all. Ezekiel 20. Go ahead, bro.
In all signs and wonders, which the Most High sent him to do in the land of Egypt to Pharaoh, and to all his servants, and to all his land, and in all the mighty hand, and in the great terror which Moses showed in the sight of all Israel.
See, and this lets you know where Moses stood, that the Lord is no respecter of person. This ain't just popped up in the New Testament. This is an Old Testament concept, ain't it, right here? His brother got took out before him. And court-martial. See, this is reaping and sowing. Y'all know what y'all did? Y'all got beside yourself. Y'all, we can get beside ourselves if we try to change the hierarchy. If we try to speak for Christ, he's our head. All instructions come from him. If you shame yourself and come under the command of some general, some Negro saying he the Holy Spirit and scared of the FBI. This Negro's peeping out the window of the FBI, and you the Holy Spirit. You're saying you're the power that causes hurricanes and storms, and what we just read happened to Pharaoh and all his household, and you peeping out the window like this from the FBI. Because they watching it now. But we got people, Israelites, that believe it. What do we do about that, y'all? That want to believe a lie. How you looking at a Negro right here, and he's the Holy Spirit, power and healing is him, and he can't get rid of them bumps off the back of his neck? I mean, you got the oatmeal look. Tennis cap on, you know, and I mean, you just, it's like David Koresh saying he's the Messiah, he got on glasses. I mean, I just don't understand how you sit there and marvel. And then you got a blind person here. You think he gonna go over to the blind and he got glasses on? If he pull them off, they gonna have to guide him to the right person. Not him over there. Get that sight back. Before he could do anything, he had to do this. Where at? Some things, y'all, are just common sense. Ezekiel 20, yeah. Sister, this gonna answer the question of brother, whoever asked that question about Who was that?
Brother John.
Brother John. About the same thing about will we have to pass under that rod the same way?
They're gonna be rebels amongst us.
So it's gonna be rebels, yeah. Start about 20, but we're gonna start about 33. Y'all wanna bag it out?
You know, 33 on down.
Y'all, law is not hard or grievous for us, because if you went down the list of laws, you say, I don't do that, I don't do that, I don't do, right there. Don't do that, don't do that, I don't do that. If you keep finding yourself doing this and then do that,
No man,
You trying to do your own.
boy, you better hurry up and hope the Day of Atonement get here. But the law is not made for a righteous man. Don't think that they don't have to keep the law. But if you're not doing that, that's not for you. A perfect example. I read about the buried law. But I'm outside the scope of that law. This ain't coming. If I did let it grow out and all the holes in it, y'all tell me to cut it off, man, just cut it off. It's still hole right here. What's the difference in that being a marred beard? It's like you, they're gonna be like, man, he keep giving his cheeks to the smiters. There was a law in Israel when you went sackcloth or you went mourning, you would allow somebody to grab your beard. You give your Christ that gave your beards to the smiter. All men would, when you get in the book of Ezra, they would pull their beard out. That's like getting in sackcloth and acid. Get out of your gaiters, get out of that silk shirt and get in some sackcloth, a potato sack. Get in the dirt and tell the Lord you're sorry and tear off what's really your glory. And let's show the Lord what you really mean. I can grow it back. But see, they're not mourning. They can grow it back. But if I had a look, if I let this grow out, it's just going to look like that. It's just going to have the smiter's cheeks.
not for everybody who talks.
I'm cool with that.
Brother can't grow beard.
That's just it. So ain't no need me spinning my wheels about the law or somebody telling me, nigga throw down on a good class, but he ain't got no beard. So y'all ain't heard nothing I said. Y'all just say that outer cup is looking shaky to me. What grown man can't grow no beard? Me?
They say grown man.
Yeah. Oh, look. Yeah. Look.
That's over your head for a second.
See that?
I told you.
Right. See.
Maybe face Hebrew too though.
Right, you know, that's just like, he ain't saying he fat, he just. It's the same thing, y'all.
I'm gonna give you something to eat.
Y'all know it's real. But let's move on, y'all. We're too far. Let's go to 20, y'all.
Ezekiel 20.
Yeah, 33.
All right. Are we reading from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20? We'll start around verse 33. Is that right, Mally?
Yeah, 33.
38.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 20, verse 33. As I live, saith the Most High Yah, surely with a mighty hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out, will I rule over you. And I will bring you out from the people.
Out from the who?
Out from the people.
Okay.
And will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered.
Wherein we were where?
You are scattered.
See, this ain't talking about Egypt. It's talking about the new Egypt. Go ahead.
With a mighty hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people.
So, and a lot of people saying they're looking for this mysterious wilderness right now. that you're going to have all the gathering of the saints, 12 tribes, and he's going to move them to this location. 40 million of us here. Now you got to count the other 11 tribes. Average of 40 million of them, each tribe. 40 times 12. 480 million people. Is that right? 480 million people fitting in the work. At one time, I mean, it's places that can hold it. But if you're looking for all of this to take place at one time, and it's telling you you're already in a wilderness, it's just called people. Y'all, we're in the wilderness, y'all. We're seeing overgrowth of bad doctrine all around us. You just heard with what you spray to kill the root. We just have to kill the root of that doctrine, so it don't grow back up through the cracks. But you in that wilderness. Go ahead, but read some more.
And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face.
Right.
Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt. So will I plead with you, saith the Most High Yahweh.
Now let's get this understood. When we was in the wilderness of the people, it was nations all around us. We was going to war as we was moving through. We wasn't moving through. We was knocking off the Canaanites. We was going to war till we get to the promised land. There was still a wilderness out there. We was in one central location, but we were still surrounded by people. It's just a wilderness that we can identify. But that wasn't a stationary spot. The only reason we stayed in that same spot is because of what? Cost us 40 years. Disobedience caused us to walk in a circle. We was on Highway 270. 270 is a full circle. Just like 285 in Atlanta. It's a circle that go around the whole city. So you just walking around the city. You start at 270 in West Florida and you end up back there. You be like, wait a minute.
Not me. I'll be there when y'all get back.
That's what happened to us. But shoes didn't wear out. Clothes didn't wear out. Heels still up the same way they were. So it was showing you even a miracle in that time that this is what supernatural life is about. You're getting this and you're disobedient. Can you imagine if you be obedient, what would happen to you?
Definition of real faith.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you walk 40 years in the same pair of shoes now and see what happens. Them heels will be so run down, you have to lay down to put them shoes on. You couldn't stand up to put them. I mean, nothing wore out. This shirt was like this shirt 40 years from now. No deodorant stains, nothing. And we still doing like this. What you got for me lately, Lord? Them distant played out. What you got, brother?
The definition of plead, so you understand what Daniel talking about. It's Hebrew 8199, shafat, right? A shafat, either one, means to judge. So he'll be judging, governing, vindicating, and punish.
Do y'all understand when you comp a plea deal in court? They're not letting you go. It's still judgment. It may be 2 years of paper. And report to your probation officer or this or that. You got 10 weeks of anger management classes. That's what we're pleading down to. Pleading is judgment. Pleading ain't letting me off the hook.
You're pleading. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
You know you should have loved me.
Come on, serve me, please.
Yeah.
Pretty please.
Pretty please. It sounds crazy, but that's what people would think plea mean when he says you got things right in front of you. When you comp a plea deal in court, you're basically saying I'm guilty.
A lesser judgment.
And you're looking for a lesser sentence. So the Most High plead with you because all of us showing up, who's showing up when they ain't got no sins on their jacket for the first place? That's the only way you would get no plea deal, you see that? Except you, Nehemiah. But everybody else.
I'm perfect.
But that's the plea deal he'll make with you. I'm looking at your name in the books, I'm looking at what you did, all of that, but Okay. You turn the 5th hour, and that actually what you did here. Let me show you what this did. Come on in. But I have to tell you what you did wrong. I have to pronounce judgment on your transgressions of the law. I'm giving you a plea deal, though. Gave David a plea deal. We read about that last week, didn't we? That was a plea deal when he numbered Israel. Okay, this is the plea deal. 7 years of famine, black on black crime, or fall into the hands of men of the Lord. They're like, you need the last one. I'll fall into your hands. Whatever you got planned for me, I'll take it. Right. But these men out here, they'll burn my eyes out there, set me on fire, they'll drag me down the street. No, I'll fall into the hands of the Lord. You created me anyway.
Right.
So at that point, the plea deal was, okay, I'll accept this. And it came down, the judgment came down, and David walked his papers down. You know, David was on papers, so to speak, with the Lord. Till that time was up. And then he was freed from that bondage of that one. And he never done it again. So it ain't like they had to call him in to give him a 120-day shock treatment.
You know about that, Daddy?
Boy, know about it. Know about it. Let's go, where we at?
We're in Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 37. And it reads, and I will cause you to pass under the rod.
Under the what?
Under the rod.
Right.
And I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. And I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn. And they shall not enter into the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am the Lord.
See, and what he said, verse 36, plead with you like I plead with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt. Will I plead with you? So we got a second issue coming up here that when it all goes down, the wilderness people going to sift up from the people. And wherever this wilderness at, that's where he going to plead with us at.
But he is giving us opportunity to get it right in that every.
Right now, you practicing now.
Okay.
You under this priesthood to practice where you going. You can't practice it when you get there. It's like us trying to practice Aaron in the promised land and get no instructions coming through the wilderness. We ain't get none. We just showed up at the promised land.
Yeah, but when I mention that to other Hebrews, they feel like well, you know, like I keep telling them that we still have to learn God's law, commandments, and statutes and get back to the old way. And they said that we can't go back to that old way. But that's what they told me. But I told them, you know what, even if it'd be good to just try. Because it's better.
And what do they call old way though?
Right, what's the old way?
Well, just like you said, some of them for some strange reason. Like I said, it took me a minute to understand the Messiah. It took me a minute. But once I understood that, then I started changing or doing better.
Right.
But the reason what made me seek and understand that was because I met a Hebrew who gave me bad doctrine.
Right.
So much so, it almost made me question everything that I had learned. I had been in the truth for like some 25, almost 30 years. I thought I really knew something. But when I understood that I was not worshiping, well, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They even told us not to even look in the New Testament, you know.
Now, don't even open it up.
Yeah, this was a false book. But it was until I came here, and like I said, I met with Madeline and we sat down, we talked about this, you know, and it stayed on my heart. And I can't say who that person would that really made me, man, do it completely overhaul.
Holy Spirit, yeah.
But this dude here was a person who people looked at with high standards as far as being a Hebrew because of his age and how many years he's been in it. And I said, there's no way this brother would mislead me. But the doctrine he gave me, dude, made them all like look at each other and say, something ain't right. All these years we learned this, and here you come, he says, something's not right. Now we normally go to somebody else to help us understand, but for the first time, we went back home. She got her Bible, I got mine. She went her way, I went my way. And then after we finished, we came together.
Right.
And we had prayed first, and we got our information. We sat down and we had the exact same answer about the Messiah. The exact scripts, everything. So can't nobody tell me nothing. about the Messiah anymore.
See, and like you said, we separated and came up with the same, we had the same results.
Yes.
Because you want flesh. The household was just getting in order. You was basically saying, if he ain't the Messiah, it's going to be proven in here. It's all or nothing. How they going to tell you not to look in the Old Testament and they won't take it out of their Bible?
Right.
Wouldn't that be a problem?
But they're stagnant right now this day. It's just the weirdest thing, man, that when we just stopped dealing with foolishness. After a while,
Right.
you're following deaf ears. Now, we told the people that we were dealing with, hey, we made a bad mistake. This is what's up. And if we don't correct this, we're going to pay for it later.
Right.
But they can't see it.
Well, they don't want to see it's a difference. Paul had to do the same thing. He went back, he met the same opposition you meet.
Right.
He like, look, y'all, the road to Damascus changed me. If that was your road to Damascus, it changed you and your wife's heart. And you're trying to tell them, and they like, man, we like that road. Dog, that road set it out. See, you ain't gonna be called a chief high priest over there with them niggas.
You sure are. All about
Boy, you great. So, in like manner, they scare you with those type of manly rewards that you won't receive. Man, ain't nobody ever came up against chief high priest, double, triple priest, such and such.
To the third power.
To the third power.
The exponent.
And you gonna tell them that you seeing something different. There's no different from that in how it was in Christianity when you say, I'm not gonna mention that to the past. I know he made a mistake, but he the past. It's the same respected person. You just know you a Hebrew. But like we saying, once the game is to the point, don't look in there. What do you mean don't look in there? Find the fault in there before you say don't look in there.
They have.
But the problem is your problem's not in the New Testament, your problem is in the Old Testament. The New Testament is proving prophecies of the Old. So either you're saying they're off on the prophecy, which means you got to have it so you can show somebody where the prophecy is off. If you take prophecy away, you're right back in Hebrew Christianity. You're right back in Christianity that has no prophecy. It has no judgment and no prophecy, and they are doing the same thing. No prophecy. We don't have no judgment because we didn't put reincarnation in there now. It's just Hebrew Christianity. That's all it is. Only difference is we know we Hebrews.
Yeah, that's it.
And they only know it from the flesh. They don't know the Israel from the spirit. It's still two different avenues for that. They just consciously aware that they're Hebrew. That's all they know. But they ain't got a clue about oneself. Like all the other nations, when they talk about, I'm a good American, but my Italian roots.
Yeah.
My German roots, you know. Akeem Olajuwon, the Nigerian this. You ever heard him say that about Jordan? No. From Africa? The sons of Zion has put down a tomahawk 360 slam. The Zion one, y'all. You know him as Jordan. You think you ever gonna hear that? No. But you will hear everybody else that is citizen of America and their nation is mentioned.
Right. They always talk about where they come from, and they brag on their upbringing.
Well, you heard of Jordan said, man, my nigga killed me.
And then you come, like I say, with these non-messianics that want a piece of land in captivity. Just give us Texas. You're going to the UN, you ain't got no money, and you're saying we setting up an established camp here for the rest of the world to respect us, and ain't nary an army behind you.
In your captivity.
Where you gonna stay? What you gonna recommend they give you? How about North and South Dakota? We'll set up shop there, 40 million of us.
No, man, it's too cold over there.
And everybody. Well, let us move on. You just cut off my thought process. Leviticus 5th chapter, y'all. We ain't got but a couple more scriptures, y'all. We're gonna get out of here on this base and just want to hit Deuteronomy 22. Y'all, just some simple law understanding, y'all, the basic, because that's what we say Bible means, B-I-B-L-E. Basic instructions before leaving earth. You gotta have these basic instructions. Y'all, they are not rocket scientists. They're not to be talked about like you've been to theology school. They are basic for life. As simple as life is, if you don't have food in you for 2 weeks, you're gonna die. If you don't have water in you for 3 days, you're gonna die. That's basic, ain't it? Yeah. Do we have to go into a scientific diatribe to explain that to you? No. If you don't eat and you don't drink water in 3 days, you're going to be dead. Tyrone Bigum's lips will look like Billy D to you. You're going to dehydrate out and wrinkle up and die. It's basic, y'all. If we teach anything and we flying up here, I'm 35,000 feet, and y'all down here and y'all ain't heard nothing I said, I got to put that plane on low. There's got to be some treetop scout so that you get it. If anybody walk out of here and say, everybody was laughing and it was good, but I didn't understand nothing he was saying, that's a problem. Up here, you have to identify that. This going over, I'm 35,000. I'm way up in here. I'm truly in the Mile High Club on this one. I'm way up too high for them. And you have to bring it back down. That's why we tell you to hold your hand up, so we can see if we flying too high. Because it's gonna go over your head. How you gonna tell it to somebody else? You can't. What you gotta do? Hold on, wait a minute. Hey man. Yeah, I got a brother here, man. You know all that fly over my head doctrine. Can you come over here?
Then you walking into a short.
Then you gotta go in there and they just sitting like this. Oh, I told you, didn't I? I told you niggas was bad.
They want kudos for what you
We can't ride, the scripture, we can't ride off another man's work. You gotta eventually get to the point where you stop making that call, or that call just, I need that script, bro, where that script at? Okay, holler back at you, yeah, I'm handling some business over here. Yeah. And when you hang up, they hear you, yeah. You know, oh yeah, he got it, he going on with his business. And you just waiting for the call, yeah, wore him out over there. Built him back up though. He'll be down in class next week. But you can't keep on dialing. What about his life? You think his life ain't nothing, he ain't got work to do, clean up your boo-boo? And it's usually something you done started. See, nigga came at me, man, with the vet. See, I wasn't ready for that. What you mean you wasn't ready for that? See, I ain't never heard it from that perspective. Yes, you have. Why you pick that fight? Sometimes we have to do you like Big Brother did. See you running up the steps and that boy behind you chasing you in hot pursuit. Open the door, you think you're finna go in and close it back on you. Go back and fight that battle. Then I'll open the door. Where we at, y'all? Let's get these last few and get out of here. Leviticus 5th chapter. Y'all, and all we doing, y'all, is just giving some common sense of switching from the Melchizedek order. Do everybody understand that Hebrews 7? And Abraham paying tithes, you know, already. There's a tithing system that was already set up before Mount Sinai. And it was called free will offering. If you swore a pledge to the Lord, you had to keep it. Just like Jacob did. Lord, if you would be with me, I'll give you 1/10 of all that I have. I'll never turn this way before Mount Sinai. He giving up 1/10. But a sworn oath 10th though. Not what we talking about around here. No, we'll renege on our oaths lickety split. That's why the Messiah says, just say yea. Let your yeas be yea and your nays be nay. Don't swear. Not even in court. Go in there and tell them I affirm. I affirm. Yes. Because they hold you to the same oath of power in their system. If we find out you lying and you swearing and lying, you going to penitentiary for 5 years. You going to the penitentiary for 5 years. Okay, well maybe I didn't. If you say I affirm, That's all they can get out of you. Did you know Big Mama was the biggest drug dealer on the north side? You know, I've heard some things, but I can't say for sure. In a firm, they can't go around that. But if you swear to tell the whole truth, and then they put it down there, Big Mama had you pick up 3 kilos yesterday. Did your fingerprints on there? On the money bag? And you look over at Big Mama and she's sitting there and shackled up. You like, baby, you gonna send me away for the rest of my life? I'm sorry, Big Mama. I told her I didn't want to do it no more, but she said it was gonna be the last time. You don't want 5. She going for triple life.
Wow.
If y'all don't think it's a serious deal, the boy for Denver Broncos, the boy named a tight end, his mother and his grandmother, Obama just pardoned his mom. The tight end, Thomas' last name?
Thomas,
Yeah. Mother and the mama just said this was the last time. She just happened to be in the same car. They gave her time too. The grandmama's still in jail. She testified against her mom. Yo, they play dirty, but they are playing with this in their court of law. We making all judgments by this. Who don't know their own history? Damn right, I swear. Okay. Y'all, they play dirty. Yes. Affirm like the Messiah saying, stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
Where we at, y'all? These last few, y'all, we get out of here. What I say, Numbers, Leviticus. 5th chapter.
Yeah.
Just testing y'all, seeing if y'all in glowworm mode.
So where we at?
Leviticus 5th chapter. We start at verse 1.
Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1.
And just lamb backing off a brother last week.
And if a soul sin and hear the voice of swearing, and is a witness, whether he has seen or known of it, if he do not utter it, then he shall bear his iniquity.
So y'all, snitching has a limit. Or I should say the don't snitch rule have a limit. You can't be scared out of righteousness by unrighteousness. If you see a crime going down and you know, if I say something, he may come back and kill me, he gonna kill you anyway. He's on a killing the neighborhood spree right now. What you think he gonna ask you first? You didn't say nothing, did you? Put your hand on the Bible and promise to me you didn't say nothing before I kill all y'all. This is telling you if y'all see something or something like that, it have to be told. You cannot let it go on and another murder come up. That jacket's on you. They tell you to be anonymous. Yeah, just pulled off in the red car, license plate 6, click up. And they pull it over, but if you watch them go and commit the next crime, your conscience is not going to sit well. Y'all, it's a difference in being a snitch and telling about bad behavior. The snitching problem is, I'm with you when we rob the bank.
Right.
I got caught, y'all did, and I point y'all out. They lead me away. Come on, man, they got us. There's more with you? Yeah, girl, the Tyrone, they over there behind the cabinet over there. Come on, man, they got us. That's snitching. You involved in the crime and you tell on somebody else.
Put me in the cell.
But you standing back here and you see an individual knocking every old lady head off that walks down this block and you see it every day. You like, I don't want to get involved with that.
Man, please.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Man, I ain't no snitcher.
Stop what you mean. He about to get adjusted on the spot.
On the spot. What you got?
All right, quick question, Dan. So let's say if you quote the laws to somebody and they down with it and everything, I got you. 2 months later you go in their house and you still see a Christmas tree. So
Going to heaven.
if I already said this to them, I'm good. I ain't gotta keep.
You don't.
Okay.
Because once they mouth accepts, man, I hear what you saying, man. But they gonna tell you to just like a crackhead. Man, this gonna kill you, man. Do you know that this is batteries and it's got this in it, it's got aluminum in it, it's got this many chemicals, it's got 28 chemicals in crack cocaine. Yeah, that's some bad stuff, man. Yeah. But man, I just like to taste stuff. All they tell you is they just like to taste the Christmas. I mean, how you gonna continue to argue with them? They done already say, yeah, it's right there, it's plain and simple. I just like the taste of disobedience. Man, see, it's just a different kind of taste, y'all. It's disobedience. It's wickedly sweet.
Right, your job is done.
Your job done.
You told them watch out.
That's your feet off.
Don't go outside, they out there shooting.
Right.
You decide to go out, it's like the blood is not on your hands at that point once you warn them. You feel me? Now, we can't twist nobody arms behind their back and make them do nothing.
Right.
Our job is just to warn them. Like he told Ezekiel, warn them from me. Tell them I told you to tell them. You feel me? After that, it is what it is.
So y'all, we don't want to spin our wheels with that because, you know, they can say this is the last time I'm taking it down. It ain't like it's a regular sin. You got to wait for 364 more days to see if they tell the truth. 362 more days, gonna see if that they gonna pull that Christmas tree back out. I'm waiting. You ain't gonna wait around for that. So once y'all agree on it, let it go, bro. You know, you done told them you free of it, and you have to just look at it. He just caught up in that tradition. It just got it. It's just like drugs or anything else. Once somebody make an excuse for it, once they say foul tastes good, if you see somebody do like this, ooh, that chitlins over cabbage. I'm talking about that look like it's lamb, seasoned just right, with the perfect slice of unleavened bread and pineapples and they are licking chop. Chitlin over cabbage. Ain't no need to keep order. This is where it's come to. Go ahead, bro.
But you can tell them once, but it don't hurt to keep planting the seed here and there. You ain't got to pound them in the head, but seasonally still.
Well, before you do, you got to ask or you got to hear from them why they still have it. See, pounding, you get into casting your pearls before swine.
Yeah, I got that.
There's something that what you said, it went over there like that. That should be the only question you ask. Did what I say to you fly over your head? No, bro, I mean, I understand it clearly, but it's for the kid. Okay. When it's the but there, there's no more conversation. I heard what you said, but the look on little Timmy's face when he was not able to open up that Chuggingtons. We got a lot of grass shorties, y'all. I know that. But that overrides the truth that your tongue said. I understand that. That's crystal clear. The question is, he just didn't say, well, it ain't gonna be this year, dog. I'm too deep in. Even better off if he said it. And I bought too many gifts to get out. I'm gonna try next year. At least you know, but to go back over there and then hear him say, you know, dog, I heard you, but you know, it's still some things I'm questioning. You know there's no question there. You already said it with your mouth. I see them scriptures. I understand these scriptures. I understand this clearly. We have more sick to deal with. Can't keep forcing nobody to take medicine if they don't want it. They going like this and it's going about your business.
First and second admonition.
Y'all hear that? First and second time, y'all, that's them laid it down to just 2 times. 2 times. Now you go back if you felt you ain't did it right. Dog, I should have explained that a little bit more clearer to you, man. I see you and stumble, man. That's me. I caused you to do that. I should have told you this. What? Damn, if you'd have said that, I'd have done that. You know, now you gotta take that with a grain of salt. Or as he just got caught, you know. And you cleaning up. But we ain't gonna belabor that, we'll move on. But that's the deal. After these things, and then like I say, ain't no need to keep going over something you know is make-believe. You know it ain't no Santa Claus. What you arguing about? I mean, scripture and verse on what? And you gonna keep running this game and y'all been knowing it ain't no Santa Claus since y'all was children? And you arguing with the same individual that found the toys in the closet with you? It's that racist sense you want. Hurry up, get out of there before we get caught. So what are we arguing about as adults? So you done hooked up with them people and they got you don't want to believe nothing, and you're talking about a fictitious event. You have no chimney, you're in the projects, and you think that milk and cookies gonna be consumed about somebody. Yeah, we ain't gonna stop no more. We're gonna get these last few. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 2.
What it say?
Or if a soul touch any unclean thing, whether it be a carcass of an unclean beast, or a carcass of an unclean cattle, or a carcass of an unclean creeping thing, and if it be hidden from him, he also shall be unclean and guilty.
So, the law don't allow you to escape anything. If you touch an unclean, whether you know that's the law or not, you still unclean in the eyes of the Most High. You done touched it. You may not understand it, but that don't change the law. Because you couldn't stop people from saying, I didn't know that was unclean. Well, we can't eat that. There's things right now, we get into Leviticus 11 that some people can't still let go of. Man, I don't think that's from that family, dog. You still like the taste of that, don't you? We'll hit a little bit of that. Let's read some more.
Or if he touch uncleanness of a man.
Of a who?
Of a man.
A man has uncleanness? A man has uncleanness. Uh-oh. Go ahead, bro.
Or if he touch the uncleanness of a man, whatsoever uncleanness it be that a man shall be defiled withal, and it be hid from him, when he knoweth of it, then he shall be guilty. Or if a soul swear, pronouncing with his lips to do evil or to do good, whatsoever it be that a man shall pronounce with an oath, and it be hid from him, when he knoweth of it, then he shall be guilty in one of these.
See, so y'all look, it's just basically telling you about the cleanliness law. You can't come down here promoting how you telling your woman she unclean. You done told me when her cycle is. So now, it's the same time of the month. What you gonna, don't sit there. Been a hoo-hoo's wife sit there last week and she unclean. We ain't cleaned that chair yet.
Which chair?
That's what we're saying. You're not guilty until you understand it or know about it. So in like manner, don't tell husband and wife things to the congregation or why they're not there. She wasn't feeling well. Leave it at that. He wasn't feeling well. I mean, because what other thought I'm gonna have in my mind but that? I mean, how do I think I just look at her sitting like this and pretty, or Lord have mercy. Or she rocking like this. This is why she couldn't come. Go next door. What other thought you gonna have in your mind?
My dog.
I mean, what other thought we gonna have if you say my rib unclean? What else could it be leading to? What you gonna think? You know, I heard it's a lot of that, abscess of teeth going around. She got that? I bet it's a fever blister, ain't it? I bet she got psoriasis on her scalp, don't she? No, when you say unclean, you thinking exactly what it is. And if she walked in the room, you have to keep your eyes from looking like that. What you gonna look at her when she get up? You gonna look like that, ain't you? They gonna bring that unclean down there. Hey, y'all, ain't no need us fooling ourselves. But it's self-explanatory or self-explained, so to speak. If a brother, when you find out, you're not guilty if you don't know. What he's supposed to tell you, man, you want to stand back from me, man. Yeah, boy. Woo, it was lover's lane last night. I'm unclean till the evening. Who's gonna tell you that? I mean, then what you do? Hey, man, keep your distance. So you pour out something for the homie and pass it, and you be like, no. So, the only reason we laugh because it's the truth. Yeah, you do it if you heard somebody go, and then you pass, no. All that coughing, and then he may be one of them ones that, and then go back up in there, and then here. Like, no, partner, that was yours. Hey, y'all, let's move on. But y'all, that's what we got to really look at these laws and understand where we can't go. If we apply to this person, you know that, and you do this, and you know a guy, and you treat him differently, and you know, he like, oh man, I done disturbed somebody. Yeah, partner, I'll holler back to you in the morning. How you gonna look at that any differently when you know the laws when he walk in? You can't just look at the woman and, y'all, we were clean people. We were not contamination. These are contamination laws. They're not, just like we transfer the spirit by touching, you can transfer sickness by touching. You can leave sickness. That's why they say wash your hands when you come out of the bathroom. Wash your hands when you do this. Don't touch and transfer. And we'll wipe everything down but a doorknob. The number one transfer of a disease on the planet. The doorknob. Kid, I'm going into the bathroom. You right behind. What you doing in there? Y'all, it's a book of life. Every aspect of life. We can go in these pages and tell you where the healing medicine is located. If you can't do this with this, then it goes on the shelf with the rest of them books. Discipline books, stand up straight, stick your chest out, holler. But that's as far as those discipline books go. Because they'll take that same disciplined person that has sin in and look at him like he's God. So where's your discipline now? You discipline in men worship.
Right.
You stand up at attention when a man will walk in and you pristine. Hell, the U.S. Army will take you on a poster. You looking like this and a nigga walking through here. Talking about bishop on deck. You willing to give your life. You! Go straighten out that mess down there in St. Louis calling me names. I will do it. Come on. Come on now. But it's a different spirit down here. It's the same spirits down here that ward off truth. Like when Jacob got back and Esau didn't see them behind him. They know. Don't come this way with that. Ain't nobody gonna be to holler and get your hands out your pocket. We ain't going for none of that. Before you get to that door, they'll feel the spirit and turn around and go back out. There's nothing holding them here for what they hear. Or they gonna hear truth. Like the boy heard it about Benjamin Carter on the radio. Go down to the library. It's a book called Brother Love about your Messiah. And he tell me I came to kill Jacob. I was in charge of getting the arms for our camp. I paid for all the guns. I signed for all of them. My mission was to stop him from calling the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, the dishonorable Sinister Farrakhan. That's what he used to call him. And they say I was sent to kill him about that. And when he told him, partner, you high as the cost of living. That Negro ain't the Messiah. Do you know that Negro's history? That nigga was in the Air Force. He was a Muslim.
Are you Air Force Mitchell?
Yeah.
Yahweh King.
He was a Muslim. He was in the Air Force. He's a Pentecostal. The Muslim running out of that coast, they say he was peeping over in the urinals in the bathroom. You know you don't look, you look straight forward. Your conversation is straightforward, like you talking to the wall. Yeah, dog, you better not turn your head and I older. You hear a gunshot, you better keep straight till you through. Y'all know bathroom etiquette 101. Let's get it. Where we at? We ain't got long, y'all. A few more minutes. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 6.
Yeah.
And he shall bring his trespass offering unto the Most High for his sin which he has sinned, a female from the flock, a lamb or kid of the goats, for a sin offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for him concerning his sin. And if he be not able to bring a lamb, then he shall bring for his trespass which he hath committed 2 turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons unto the Most High, one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering.
So it wasn't like, well, Lord, I can't ask forgiveness for that sin. I don't have a lamb. He like, look, we'll break this down to turtle doves, pigeons. We got a pigeon problem? We got no problem finding pigeons, do we? In this sense, so to speak. Go ahead. If we looked in the ghetto, they pigeons on every roof, ain't they? Go ahead, bro.
And he shall bring them unto the priest, who shall offer that which is for the sin offering first, and wiring off his head from his neck.
And ring off his head.
And ring off his head from his neck, but shall not divide it asunder.
So it's just going through a little bit of the laws, which we don't have to worry about as far as Hebrews 10 now, 9 and 10, you know, the sacrificial law. Jump down to verse 15.
Verse 15, if a soul commit a trespass and sin through ignorance.
Sin through what?
Ignorance. In the holy things of the Most High, then he shall bring for his trespass into the Most High a ram without blemish out of the flocks, with thy estimation by shekels of silver, after the shekels of the sanctuary, for a trespass offering.
So there was still a cost if you sinned in ignorance, because anybody can play that I didn't know game. I didn't know that. And what you gonna do but just look at me? You lying, you knew. I mean, but what you gonna say? Man, I swear to you, I put that on my kids. I didn't know. Oh, we ain't gonna go that far. So what I'm gonna say? Put it on your kids, then. Don't you not do me like that, man. Both of them dead, Junior and Earl, man. I made a promise I couldn't keep. How you gonna be feeling? Because you let them make a promise you couldn't keep. That's why I say we can't charge our brother usury. Meaning we can't tax him for a loan. You can only give what you able to lose. If I need 500 real bad, they're gonna set me out in the cold. I got 100. Now all you need is 400. But you can't give them the 500 and you on the front porch.
Right.
Who you gonna blame? Give what you can afford to lose, because they may die the next day. Who you gonna rustle pockets to get your change from? His wife or his children? Now your daddy died owing me. And y'all got 1 or 2 choices. Y'all take them gators off his feet in the casket and give me mine. Or pull them rings off his fingers and give me mine. Or he died, and that money gone. That's how we're supposed to do. And this drug war turned us into usury levels of wickedness ain't been seen before, man. Now, how you know this person on crack and he tell you, I'm gonna give you back 30 tomorrow. Just give me 20, I'll give you back 40 tomorrow. And you agree to that, and you know he's strung out. He's asking you for 20 and promising to bring double up back to you tomorrow. And you know he on drugs, and you say that's a good deal, and then threat. I don't come back around here, you got my money come Thursday. When I come looking for you, nigga better have my money. Double up just like you said. He's a crack addict. He can bust his heart the minute he leaves. And you vowing threats for usury? Y'all, this the level we done sunk to. Because you're trying to straighten his wickedness out of what he's caught up under with paying him off with cash and then threatening him if I don't get my money back. His mind ain't his own. You think a woman will lay down with a German Shepherd if she had any other thought process but crack got her and he's telling you, you want this other piece, lay down with Bruce. He ain't had none in a while. And a dog laying there and she do it. These are stories of drug dealers saying, that's what made me quit. Did it take that for you to quit selling poison to our people? You had to see her want that piece of crack so bad she laid down with your dog and you sitting in there witnessing. Hey, look. The dog like he got experience. You like, you going to the shelter. Let's finish this up, y'all. I ain't gonna belabor it too much longer, y'all, but this is the mindset that we've dropped to when it comes about healing of this word and how you deal with a situation. No pressure for payback. Brother, I'm just offering this to you, this healing medicine, because it was offered to me. That's it. And walk away. If they don't want it, you can't make nobody take medicine if they don't want it. Let's get it. Where we at? Last few, y'all.
Verse 16. And he shall make amends for the harm that he hath done in the holy thing, and shall add the 5th part thereunto, and give it unto the priest. And the priest shall make an atonement for him with the ram of the trespass offering, and it shall be forgiven him. If a soul sin and commit any of these things which are forbidden to be done by the commandments of the Most High, though he wist it not, yet is he guilty, and he shall bear his iniquity.
See, and that's kind of harsh with people, because you're saying, I didn't know. You knew. The laws of the universe. All of these laws, he said, I set it up for you to understand it one way or the other. If you think that I was made to lay down, you a man, and lay down with a man, and you see 2 boy dogs kill each other when one sniff the other, you know that ain't right by nature.
That's right.
You just don't want to agree with it. And when you start to justify it by saying, oh, we seen on film some homosexual lions and some homosexual dogs, you're talking about instinct. Dogs don't have consciousness. They have instinct. When that flavor get up in them, they're going to grind on something. Either your leg, a fire hydrant, a baby doll, whatever's close by, that's instinct. That has nothing to do with them being gay animals. So what makes him gay? The dog hump your leg. Oh, this dog gay. I got to kill him. So y'all, we want to get it clear that you don't get mixed. It says we get lowered to be state. That what we only react off of instinct versus consciousness. That's why Ecclesiastes say the spirit of a man going upward, the spirit of a beast going down. So contrary to belief, all dogs don't go to heaven. It's the other way around. So he don't want you ever think you'll elevate to a beast. Now there's beasts around the throne. And you read about them. But that has nothing to do when we're talking about the spirit, what energizes a man and law. The law of animals, the boy dog is straight down when he go to try to lick another boy dog. The law is exacted, ain't it? Another one's laying down on the ground. I quit. I quit. And instead of us looking at this law, what we say, your dog a punk. Your dog was trying to do punk stuff. That's what happened to your dog. And the law of nature came back and corrected it so you can see that. Guess we ain't supposed to be doing that either. Where you at, bro? Let's hold that.
18.
Hold that, y'all. This last one, y'all. Deuteronomy 22. We're just going to read a couple out of y'all. We're going to close out just doing a little basic law, letting you understand a few things that always come up. Y'all, what we try to do is hit on the things that are naturally in our lives every day in this walk in captivity. For us to continue to teach law at home, everyday scripture, all you can do is just say, well, that's what I got to do to get there. But we have to learn how to deal in captivity. There's captivity scriptures in here. We ain't new to this. This ain't the first time this did happen to us. The script asks, are we a homeborn slave? Do we just have to go to slavery to slavery to slavery? What's wrong with us? Hard head, y'all. Hard head like Bokeem Woodbine and Jason Lyrics. Hard head.
Can't get right.
Can't get right. Go ahead, bro. Where we at?
Deuteronomy 22.
22, yeah, go ahead. Just start verse 1.
In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 1. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ox or his sheep go astray, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt in any case bring them again unto thy brother.
Y'all see these laws? That's like now if you saw somebody's dog get out, you go get it and put it back in the yard as long as it ain't a killer. Or you got to at least let them know that that killer's on the loose. Children walking home from school. That's your responsibility. Man, I just saw Bojo out on the loose, man. Kids coming around the corner. I kept blowing my horn, but you know that dog crazy of yours. Because he would be responsible if that dog killed anybody. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 2. And if thy brother be not nigh unto thee, or thou know him not, then thou shalt bring it unto thine own house, and it shall be with thee until thy brother seek after it, and thou shalt restore it to him again.
So these are all the signs y'all see out there, lost dog. That ain't your dog. How that's your dog that got a collar on that belong to somebody else? Tell me when you get that, man. That's a box, ain't it? Yeah, nigga got it as a gift. The gift is I opened my gate and came in and I closed it. Return it to your brother. You know that ain't your dog. The tag say it belonged to these people on this block. And they giving a reward. But some of us done turned it into reward business. It's a group out here now that steal prize dogs and different things and put it out there. We're looking for the owner, seeing if a reward gonna pop up. And they just deliver. They make a living stealing your dog and selling it back to you. Go ahead, bro.
In like manner shalt thou do with his ass, and so shalt thou do with his raiment, and with all lost thing of thy brother.
Now see, that's talking about a donkey. So we don't want to get that twisted. Go ahead, bro.
Which he hath lost, and thou hast found, shalt thou do likewise. Thou mayest not hide thyself. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ass or his ox fall down by the way, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt surely help him to lift them up again. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are abomination unto the Most High thy Elohim.
So it says a woman should not wear that to pertain to man. That's law, statutes, and judgment. Those are men's rights. She can't wear them. This ain't just talking about clothing. This is talking about spirits. Jezebel had on the clothing of a male prophet, a lion male prophet. She was in charge. She had on that pertaineth to a man. There's female prophetess, but she was over the prophets and telling her husband what to do. Ahab, if you don't get out of here with your wine and donkey, I'll kill you. I'm talking about this the king of Israel crying to, I offered him a king's ransom for his land, and he told me it was inherited. It's his father's. I can't. You crying to her and you the king? She say, man, shut up all that crying. Went out there and told her false prophet, go over there and stir up some lies about this man. When prophets come back and say, yeah, he done did this, he done did that, Jezebel pronounced judgment on it and take the land and throw the deed to her. Here, old whining nigga. And he's looking at you got him this sign. You.
Voice all high pitched, soft.
This the king. That's the king. You satisfied that your woman went and took what you wanted. Well, you know what else she after? Your throne. Negro, you'll be sitting on the side of the throne. In Israel. What thinkest thou, Jezebel? You sitting here again? What did I tell you yesterday? Okay, baby. It's a test in here. What's that, 2 Ezra 4? About who was the wisest?
First
Ezra. 2nd chapter, I believe. Which is wise? Women, this. And they say the king is the wise. The prophet say, I don't know about that. I saw the queen take the crown off your head and put it on hers. And when you said something, she slapped you and you giggled. He like, so how's the king in charge? You got hit across your jowl region and rubbed it like 1,000 bumblebees that stung you and laughing, and she got the crown on her head. That's instant death.
Right.
You remove the crown from off a king's head, don't care who it is. Your mama, your grandmama, nobody touched that crown. And she got it on and slapped it in front of everybody. Let's read some more.
Verse 6. If a bird's nest chance to be before thee in the way, in any tree, or on the ground, whether they be young ones or eggs, and the dam sitting upon the young, or upon the eggs, thou shalt not take the dam with the young.
So there was a rule, you couldn't move no eggs if the mother's around. This is the deal where Edomites get it twisted talking about you can't eat a cheeseburger because you can't side a kid in his mother's milk. Ain't got nothing to do with cheeseburgers. That means you can't eat, what is it called, a 6-month-old? Veal. Everything say take a kid of a year old from the flock, this and that. A kid in his mother's milk ain't reached a year old yet. That kid is still sucking the cow. How you gonna put that on the grill? But you know what they call it? The most tender meat on earth, veal. Now they get the lamb and they tie his legs down so it can't develop. Or it just lays like this to 6 months, then they kill it. They say the meat is so tender. Just doing the same thing with animals that they do with children. 9 years old yet, nope, oh, tender male. And they would have their way with a young boy. That's the doctrine of some of these groups. And the Roman and Catholics. We got to get that altar boy and turn him into an altered boy before he died. And they alter his mindset, the altar boy. So y'all, these scripts are self-evident of what's going on if we have bad behavior. He's saying if you see a bird nest down there, you better not take that egg out of there. And that's nursing. How you gonna destroy my creation from hatching? Either put it back up in the tree or move it to the side where it can't be damaged if she's sitting on her egg. That's like you just walking up and punch a pregnant woman in the stomach. Oh. Shouldn't have been in the way. Got your ass out. Ought to be at home somewhere washing dishes and barefoot. Pregnant out here. Let's read some more.
Verse 7. But thou shalt in any wise let the dam go, and take the young to thee, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days.
See that, y'all? And this is as simple as dealing with the Most High's creation. Don't mess with that if it's a young one like that. Why would you do that? You know it's suckling. I mean, we do it every day about dogs you trying to sell, ain't you? Oh, they ain't got wings yet, dog. You gonna get it? You on the list. You on the list. I'm gonna give you the boy. But the dog has to complete its milk sucking, right? Before you sell the puppy to somebody else. You can't sell that puppy, it's gonna be crying all night. What you gonna do with it? You do what everybody else do. Throw it outside, throw it away, or do something with it. Take it back to the owner where you got it from. I want my money back, this thing cry all night. It's 6 weeks old. It's too early to be gone from its mother. Don't sod a calf in its mother's milk, meaning that you can't eat. Don't mean you can't eat a cheeseburger. It means the calf is suckling.
Right.
It has not reached the age of sacrifice or proper nutrition in the meat for you to eat it, and you get some nourishment. But they call it veal, and make you think unmatured lamb is the best thing on planet Earth, and charge you for sin. Y'all, this is where we got to get it out. They are charging us for sin. High prices. Oh, you want the veal? Oh, this is fresh, not a day over 6 months. Legs have been tied together. Tender. What's the price on it? Ruth Chris prices. I'll pay it. And you buy in sin. Because we don't know and we don't understand. Shalom, y'all. Go ahead, bro. We're going to get finished with this. It's almost 5. Let's get out of here.
Verse
5
8.
and 9, ain't it? Go ahead.
When thou buildest a new house,
right,
then thou shalt make a battlement for thy roof, that thou bring not blood upon thine house, if any man fall from this.
What is a battlement, y'all? Huh? A what? Nobody? Huh?
Some kind of fence or
It's a railing, yeah, it's a battlement. You got to have a deck. You just can't have a deck and no railings, and you're on the 2nd or 3rd floor.
Like fall off the
Yeah. I'm tell y'all, around niggas on consciousness around here, you can slip up and drink all that hooch and fall off. It's on y'all. You can't promote that and have a party up there with no railings. What if a child up there, you can't, anybody with a swimming pool in their backyard must have a fence around it. If they crawl over the fence, it's not your fault. But you can't have a pool in the public setting with no fence around it. Same thing with this. You got to have a battlement. How you have a roof and entertaining and ain't nothing to prevent the people from falling and killing themselves? Let's read some more.
Verse 9. Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seeds, lest the fruit of thy seed which thou hast sown and the fruit of thy vineyard be defiled.
That's both spiritual and physical. You got to be careful of this. You can't mix orange and grape seeds together to see what you're going to get. You can't experiment with the Lord. Everything has its kind. We got enough kinds out here. This is how we get all the different breeds of dog. All this came from the wolf. Mix this with this. Oh, I got a Rottweiler now. Mix this with this. Oh boy, look at what I got. A new breed. Let's read some more.
Thou shalt not plow with an ox and an ass together.
Well, y'all think that is? Plow with an ox and an ass together. They be out of what? Thank you, bro. It's out of step. One walks like this and legs are this short. The other one got long stride.
What kind of work gonna get done with that?
What kind of work gonna get done like that? He got to keep getting caught up. You can't put them together like that. You can't have a Volkswagen and claim you got a Ferrari motor in it and talking stuff.
Okay, two walk together unless they agree.
And You step on the gas, on the doors and hood, everything gonna fly off. Y'all done seen that. Everything flies off, only thing left is the motor. Too much power. Same thing with this, you can't mix it. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 11. Thou shalt not wear a garment of diverse sorts, as of woolen and linen together.
See that? We're not supposed to have woolen and linen. One make you sweat, one don't. How you gonna have both of them on at the same time? What kind of deodorant you gonna have on? Huh? Yeah. Sweat guard 2000. I mean, what you gonna do? Woolen and linen? Linen is to stop sweat. That's why the priest's drawers were made after linen, from the loin to down to the thigh. They were boxer shorts. Ezekiel 44:18 say to stop them from sweating. Yeah. Now, if you put wool on, what that's gonna do? That's a wool coat you got on right there.
For the winter
right?
time. Yeah.
Now, just stay in that coat in the house that's about 70, 80 degrees. He'll have them t-shirt stains under that coat. Them yellow stains. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 12. Thou shalt make thee fringes upon the four quarters of thy vesture, wherewith thou coverest thyself.
So this again is saying, do we go all the way around, or can we put them on the corners? Well, we out of line because we got on tassels versus the full fringe. No, you ain't. Put them on the corner. Go ahead, brother.
If any man take a wife and go in unto her, and hate her, and give occasion of speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid. Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate.
See, you couldn't just bring up a bad name on a virgin. Man, virgin mom. If it hadn't been for that 2x4, I'd have fell off in there. Virgin. I want my money back. So you would have to take the honeymoon sheet. You have to go back and get that from the father, and they have to go before the priest and lay it out, the honeymoon sheet. Because the hymen is different from menstrual. They're going to examine it and look at the color in it and say, that's virgin blood. You bring up an evil name on her, we put you to death. Y'all, it was that serious. World's favorite story, Susanna. Same way. Men were going to bring up an evil name on her so they could pull a train on her. We going to say you are. A young man was in here and got on you and you didn't care nothing about it. We just saw you in the act and we going to tell on you. Couple more of these y'all going to get out of here.
Verse 16.
What it say?
And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hateth her.
See, y'all, you ain't got to worry about all of the talk. And do they talking all this stuff, does size matter now? Why you get into that conversation? If it's a virgin, you ain't got to worry about it. It's going to be the same till one of you dead. Ain't no change in it. Read some more.
Verse 17. And lo, he hath given occasions of speech against her, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid, and yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity, and they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city.
Y'all see how serious this was back in the day? You just couldn't get out of this. Right. Shit, I'm sick of her, dog. Man, can't stand her. Damn, I didn't know she couldn't cook. Man, how you burn water? And basically you can. Before you put the hot dogs in there, it burns out. That's water burning. I mean, it's just, that's what it is, not a pot burn. I want out of this. How can I get out? Oh, the law says if you find some uncleanness, you can divorce. Oh, she ain't a virgin, she wasn't a virgin. They would check y'all. They did not play that. You couldn't give no bad name like that. You just couldn't throw it to the wind like that and get out of it. You was on the line. You ain't gonna have your cake and eat it too. That's why any virgin that you got with before a marriage ceremony in public now, you cannot divorce her for life. No circumstances, none. There's nothing on the books to say you can get past her. And I think about when we coming up, some of us are old in here, that was the deal. It's for these shorties' sake. You would do something to the chick. That was the talk. That was the talk that we were talking about in the neighborhood that will make you stuck with a woman for life. Never, ever. The divorce word would never, ever come up if you did that to a damsel virgin in Israel. Let's read some more. Just a couple more, we get out of here.
Verse 18. And the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him.
Right.
And they shall immerse him in 100 shekels of silver and give them unto the father of the damsel.
He gotta get taxed.
You gotta get taxed.
Because he hath brought up an evil name upon a virgin of Israel, and she shall be his wife. He may not put her away all his days.
All his days. Woo. All his days. No divorce. You can't talk. The priest, I wish I would hear you saying divorce and we just saw that token of virginity. Get out of here. Get out of this courtroom.
In the game, well.
Couple more, bro.
But if this thing be true, and the token of virginity be not found for the damsel,
right,
then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her with stones that she die, because she hath wrought folly in Israel, to play the whore in her father's house.
You know whose house?
In her father's house. So shalt thou put evil away from among you.
So they gonna check too and seeing if you've been playing the vinegar game. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Go ahead.
Verse 22. If a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, then they shall both of them die. Both the man that lay with the woman and the woman, so shalt thou put away evil from Israel.
And see, the elders didn't do this when they brought the woman caught in adultery to the Messiah to see what he gonna do when he started writing in the dirt. They say we caught her in the very act, didn't it? What did they say happened if you catch both of them in the act? What a man was at around there when they were bringing that to Christ? Nowhere to be found. Or he was like this. Oh, shit. He writing about me. He writing the man who she was with. And they disappeared. Couple more, man, we get out of here.
Verse 23. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of the city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die.
Same judgment, huh?
Yeah.
The damsel, because she cried not, being in the city.
Being where?
Being in the city. And the man, because he hath humbled his neighbor's wife.
Wow.
So that thou shalt put away evil from among you.
So you're supposed to holler out if it's anybody can hear you. Woman holler out, he raping me! If you in the city and somebody could come to your aid, you have to holler it out. If not, the only judgment could have been, this is the rendezvous point.
Concession.
This where y'all meet up to do this.
A betrothal was still a matter.
Yeah.
It hadn't been sealed yet, but the same judgment for the verse before is the same one. So if somebody that's engaged is considered somebody's wife. Scripture, you know what I'm saying? Scripturally speaking.
That's right.
And so truly that's a situation where silence is acceptance.
Yeah. Yeah. In that situation.
Yep.
If you said no mean no, scream it out. Holler it out. Holler it out. Let's cut this Bill Cosbyism out. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 25. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. there is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter.
So it's like you caught a man off guard and you know, like say you slayed somebody without him looking. Walked up to him and gave him a dome shot in the back of the head. He couldn't holler out. He couldn't help himself a fight against you. You snuck up behind him. It's saying in this matter the same way you get a young virgin and you catch her out somewhere and rape her. Where she can't holler. You done said we going on a camping trip to help crippled children and then there ain't nobody out there but you and her. Go ahead.
Verse 27. For he found her in the field, and the betrothed.
She was betrothed, right?
Right. And the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her. He may not put her away all his days.
See, now you have some brothers that look and think this means as long as if she ain't a virgin, I don't have to pay a dowry. Because of this scripture, but you're reading that wrong. What's happening is a problem has already happened. You've laid with her beforehand. This is the recovery process. You got to pay now. You can't test drive no car and just drive off and bring it back when you want it to, can you? Is there a difference in a new car and a used car in the warranty? Ain't it?
Yeah.
So there's laws here. You can't just test drive a virgin and then give her back. No, ain't what I thought, dog. I'm taking it back. You can't do no new car like that. Shalom, y'all. Go ahead. We finna get out of here. This last verse says.
Verse 28, verse 30. A man shall not take his father's wife, nor discover his father's skirt.
So that's clear. No MF.
Right.
Yeah, we hope that brought some understanding in just the regular day-to-day life events that we go over. We're going to try to do this on occasion so we understand the law and we look at it from a Melchizedek perspective, y'all, because all of us need mercy behind this. Because if we were still under Aaron, it wouldn't be nothing but babies in this room. Right. Ain't no need no fooling ourselves.
Babies wouldn't even be in this way.
Right, because we'd be dead when the producer took it.
Are we all good? Closing prayer, Psalm 83. Closing prayer, excellent class, my brother.
Yes, sir. Hey, y'all, we gonna be in camera off. Go ahead and kill the camera, man. Hey, y'all, we got, right now it's looking March 30, 31st for the Passover. We want to get some confirmation on